What's up, film fam, and welcome to the Film Room Podcast. My name's Dion,
My name is Scott.
and today we're doing the 2025 horror movie, The Long Walk, directed by Francis Lawrence and based off the 1979 novel written by the legendary author Stephen King. In this episode, we'll hear from the podcast listeners. We'll get into our deep dive, and at the end, we're going to get into our award show called the Filmies, where we give out 6 awards. So stay tuned for that. But before we get into that, Scott, we have to give our general thoughts.
General
General
thoughts.
thoughts. So let's start with you, Scott. Tell me what you thought of what you think of the movie.
I liked it. It was a
Mm,
good movie. I don't think it was a great movie.
okay.
I don't even want to say I was disappointed.
Mm,
I kind of went in with decently high expectations. The premise interested me. I knew it was a Stephen King story, which always like comes with expectations because
mm,
they're just so great. But I thought it was a good dynamic between the characters. I thought there was interesting ebbs and flows in and out of tension. Like
mm,
there's moments where they're just walking, hanging out, cracking jokes, making fun of each other, whatever, and then people start dying. So I
yeah.
thought that was interesting the way that went up and down. Yeah, but overall it was a good movie. I liked it.
Okay. It's interesting um to hear your feedback on that. And I'm curious, like, did some of the online stuff skew you a little bit, and some of like the online hype? Did
Mm,
that more or less like lower or bring your
not
expectations
not really because I like before a movie, I never base a lot of my expectations on critic
online?
scores.
Yeah.
I mean, if a movie's been out for 20 years and then there's like a whole public opinion based on
Yeah.
like whether a movie's good or not, I feel like that's generally fair because I kind of subscribe to the idea. I don't remember the name of this concept or whatever,
Mhm.
but basically the opinion of a large group of people is always going to be more accurate than any one person, no matter how expert they are.
Yeah.
So if you have like thousands of people that have seen this movie and then agree whether it's good or not, whereas like this movie just came out, so there's like 20 critic scores
Yeah.
giving it like a 95 on Rotten Tomatoes or whatever, that doesn't mean anything to me. So
Yeah.
I not
No.
really.
No, that's fair. I actually it may seem like I'm boosting too much based off how your reaction, but it's actually one of my favorite movies of the year, I'd have to say.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, I'll obviously get into it as we get into like our deep dive. Like I thought there was a lot of interesting, real characters,
Mhm.
complex characters. I feel like the runtime wasn't long, so I feel like as much as you can get into those characters. But there is one aspect of the movie that I had an issue with, but I'll get into it
Okay.
more with the deep dive. But no,
Yeah.
I really enjoyed this movie. I had low expectations,
Really?
and yeah, and this was based off not because it was like when I hear it's a Stephen King movie, I'm always like this
Mm.
because Stephen King has like over what like he's got like over like 90, I think it was like 91 books. Some of them aren't under like a different name because like some
Right.
authors do
This
that.
one was actually.
This one was, yeah, exactly. This one was under a different. Do you know what the name was? I forget what it was.
I can find it.
I mean, if it's a
Uh
quick find, I don't want to make
Under
you.
his pseudonym Richard Bachman.
Okay, there you go. So this one was
Bachman?
under a different
Something
name,
like that.
but I uh I think it was the trailer for me because I wasn't familiar with this book. There's a couple of his books that I know of that they haven't turned into movies yet, or obviously like the famous ones that they have
Mm.
turned into, whether it's been a TV show or a movie. And this one, the concept was interesting to me because I was like, okay, it's like a survival thing. Who could make it to the end? But my initial pushback was the trailer kind of showing you who kind of makes it to the end to a certain extent. They don't show you
Right.
like the very, very end. But I just didn't like how it's supposed to kind of built up as like who can make it to the end, who will survive. And as the trailer keeps going, you keep showing me less and less people. I'm like, I feel like there's another way you could have done that trailer. So that from that alone, I was kind of pushed back. But the movie ended up like over delivering for me with me having low expectations, which is
Hmm.
maybe why I liked it so much.
That's funny that because I remember we talked about that. I don't remember if it was on podcast or off, but
Hmm.
you mentioned that like you didn't like that you kind of you could see who was there at the end.
Yeah.
And I mean, the movie isn't doesn't go into any twists and turns. And by the way, we're going to spoil this movie,
Oh,
so if you
yes.
haven't seen it, just
Yeah.
fair warning. Um, like all the main characters are there at the end. Like
Yeah.
it's our main guys. Like if there's a character that's just in the background doesn't get to talk at all, like that's for a reason. They're dead. Like
Yeah.
they're not surviving even the first night, or maybe they will. They'll just be in the background. But
Yeah.
so I never even saw it. Like what excited me about this movie wasn't necessarily like, ooh, I wonder who's gonna make it to the end. Like to me, that wasn't
Yeah.
the value in the story. To me, the value in the
Hmm.
story was more like the camaraderie and just the experience
Hmm.
of going on this walk and what they would have to go through knowing the consequence if they stop.
Hmm.
So it's less so like who's going to make it and more so just what's going to happen to the people on this walk. I don't really even care necessarily who it's going to be. Like as the movie was going and I kind of realized what it was, I was like, okay, the our two main guys, they're going to be there at the end.
Yeah.
But that didn't bother
And
me.
no, which is fair because now seeing what the movie was, I thought the way they were building it was
Mm,
kind of like Hunger Games, and obviously there's been a lot of online discourse of the Hunger
same
Games
director.
thing. Same director, and it's kind of funny too because well, he didn't direct the first one, but he directed all the ones after that.
True.
But I thought it funny because some people were like, "Oh, so they're just doing Hunger Games." I'm like, "Well, the book came out in 1972." They're like, "Oh, they're just doing Hunger Games, doing Squid Games." I'm like, 1972, guys. I think this story is way before that,
Yeah.
and I'm sure there
They're
was
doing the
another
long
thing.
walk.
Exactly, and I'm sure there was something before the Long Walk too. Like, I don't think this
Oh
is like
yeah.
an idea that only someone only thought of in the 1970s. I'm
A
sure there was
competition to the death? Yeah,
yeah, exactly,
that's
yeah.
been done since the beginning of time. Yeah.
Exactly. So I thought that online discourse was kind of funny. But with me, the way they were selling it, I didn't think it was gonna be about like this brotherhood thing.
Mm,
For me, the way it was sold to me was that it was more about the survival thing. So that where I was like, okay, well, I don't see to me, at least the trailers I saw.
okay.
And I'm someone that avoids trailers, so maybe if I saw a different trailer, then I would have realized that it's this is what they're kind of going for. I thought it was sold to me as this is going to be guys who can make it to the end. So that's why I was like, I don't know if I want to see this because I feel like what surprise am I going to get? Like I feel like so much of this movie I'm just waiting until it gets to the end, then I could be like, okay, now who's going to survive? But
Hmm.
as watching the movie now, I realized that it wasn't that, and I was very much surprised and glad by
I
that.
That's funny that like you got a different idea from the trailer because I did too. I didn't think that this is more of a drama than a horror movie. Like there's
Yeah.
like it's marketed as like this horror thriller, and it's yes, there's like the gore in it where we see people like getting shot in the head. There's the guy that even commits suicide. So like we in that sense, like I get why it's rated R and all that stuff, but
Hmm.
like it's not really like a horror movie. It's about like the guys and the camaraderie and the relationships and like and the inner turmoil also of our main character and like what he's gonna do and like why he's doing this and like all of this conflict is really what the story's about. And to me, that's way more of a drama than a horror.
It's funny because I get in this conversations. I mean, I get in this conversation with my sister a lot. Like when we argue about, and it's like a fun argument about like
Yeah, yeah.
horror movies and stuff like that, and like different like subgenres in horror. And this is the one that we usually get into where she's like, "Oh, that wasn't really a horror movie." I'm like, what makes it a horror movie? Like the way I see it, I'm like, a horror movie doesn't have to have jump scares, doesn't have to have like a boogeyman, doesn't have to have like these moments where it's like, oh man, that really scared me. To me, it's just like I take it very little literal of like this is like horrifying. Like what's happening is horrifying. Not a lot of genres do this. Like there's not many times you'd walk into a drama and you'd see this kind of thing unless it's a war drama. But
Mm,
that's in its own
hmm.
thing in itself. But you wouldn't go into like a Mission Impossible and see deaths like that.
Right.
That to me, that's what makes it horror and the blood being splattered and seeing the close up and stuff like that. I'm like, you don't see that unless it's horror usually. So I'm like, that was a horror movie. Like Midsummer is the one that we always go back and forth because that movie doesn't really have for anyone that sees it or they know that it doesn't really have that lot of jump scares and stuff like that. There's a couple. It's more about like what this girl is going through is horrifying. It's like the idea of
Mm,
like you go to like this island and everything is like really messed up and like you're in this like really uncomfortable position and maybe there's never a jump scare, but like she's very uncomfortable. She could be like anxious the whole time. That's a horror movie. There doesn't have to be one jump scare, but it's like what's happening if you suddenly had to be put in this position, be like, oh my god, that's a nightmare. This
yeah.
is this is literally a nightmare, and that's how I look at this. I'm like, yeah, it's 100% a horror movie because no one would want to be in this position.
No. No, but they all volunteer, which is funny enough. But there's also the cool conflict of like none of them are volunteers, just based on the
Yeah.
system, like, which is super interesting. This movie actually asks a lot of interesting questions, and we'll talk about them as we
Yeah.
dive deeper into it. But I think the way I see genre in
Hmm.
movies is like, and it's actually based on kind of a point that you brought up a while back, and we talk
Hmm.
about every now and again, is kind of like every genre wants to make you feel something different, and a
Yeah.
horror movie wants to scare you. And
Hmm.
does this movie scare you? Like, to me, like, in your description of like, you're put into a situation where you're very uncomfortable and anxious the whole time and uncomfortable. I feel like that's more of, I would call that more of a thriller.
Mm.
But that also can some oftentimes be attached with like mystery, like you don't know
Yeah.
what's going to happen next. But I guess in a situation where you're very anxious and uncomfortable, you don't know what's going to happen next. That's the point. So that's, I would call that more of a thriller, whereas like a horror movie is like supposed to be scary. And I feel like the emotion that this movie brings you is more about relationships and friendship. It's not,
Hmm.
it's like, I feel like the strings that it's pulling at are more of your heartstrings rather than your like scare factor. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I see that point, but I always think back to some like the early stages of horror because like I wasn't really much like a horror like historian until like I read like the guy that created Scream, like Wes Craven. I read his book, and he and some of his early movies they're not actually that scary. It's a lot of, and it made me realize I'm like, oh, I guess this is kind of what horror was, at least like at that time period, like in the 70s, where it's just like, well, like horrible things happening where it's like,
Mm,
oh, like this is a story about this girl, she gets like kidnapped and gets like tortured or whatever. Like that's not scary, but it's horrifying. And that was a lot of those movies, especially in the 70s, like horrible things happening to people, like Misery, for example. That's another like a Stephen King thing. Someone getting like kidnapped by someone, crazy fan getting tortured. That's a horror movie. Some people are, oh, it's a thriller, but it's like, no, like it's considered a horror movie because it's like a horrible thing. It's like it's the horror of it,
hmm
which I understand both, and this is why I always go back and forth with it. And I'm still sticking to to my guns of like
yeah.
I still think this is a horror movie, but
I mean, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter.
it doesn't really matter. No, it's just
Yeah.
like a funny go, like a fun back and forth. I mean, my sister never
Yeah.
really get heated on it. Sometimes
Right.
the voices raise a little bit, but like we did it in a theater, like not in a theater, but in a Cineplex one time, and we were like arguing, and I'm sure people were looking at like, and then I started laughing. I'm like, whatever. Like you're wrong though, but yeah.
Yeah.
But with that being said, we should we gave our general thoughts. We should. I think it's time to hear from the. I think it's time to hear from the family.
I don't have friends. I got family.
Yes, welcome everybody to the family meeting. Gather around, grab a chair. We got some nice food on the table. We're gonna have a nice family meeting. This is where we get the listeners' opinions because they are just as valid as ours. We are not experts here at the Film Room Podcast.
No, we're not.
So this week on our Instagram story, I asked the question, "What's your favorite Stephen King film adaptation?"
Good question.
And we got a few answers. Eugen said "It," the first
Mm-hmm.
one.
It's a
And a
great
lot of
movie.
these, actually, none of these I've seen because
Okay.
also not
Horror
being a,
movies.
yeah, exactly. Not being film experts. I'm not a horror movie expert. I don't like horror movies for the most part.
Mm,
Although
yeah.
this year I've been
Yeah, I
going
know.
into the horror movies,
You
man,
have three in this year.
and
All
I've
your
liked them all.
suggestions. Yeah, exactly. Which is kind of funny.
Hey,
Let's see
look,
how that
it's
continues.
called growth, Dion.
Yeah, it is.
Um,
It's good though. That's one of my favorite
okay.
of the 21st century to put in that. Well, I guess yeah, in the tens. It's one of his best adaptations for because like the 80s one, not to go on a tangent here, the 80s one, sometimes those 80s movies it doesn't translate. I know some people that stand by, but like the 80s one's better than the 2017 one. I don't
You
think
don't
so.
think so?
That movie
Uh,
made a lot of money too, like 700 mil or something
yeah.
crazy like that.
Yeah,
But
it was
anyway,
super popular, and then the book went crazy too. Everybody started buying
oh
the
yeah.
book and reading the book. But I want to get your answer too. But first, I'm gonna shout out Caesar, who said
Mm,
1408, which
mm.
I have you seen that one?
Yeah, I've seen that one too. It's a good one.
It's good.
Yeah.
Well, it's if in case you don't know what it is, it's John Cusack and Samuel L. Jackson. John Cusack is like an author that dispels not witchcraft, but like ghosts and stuff.
Yeah.
And then he stays at a haunted hotel with that Samuel L. Jackson's the manager, and then it gets all bunch of crazy stuff
Mm.
happens. So I know he's a big horror guy. So
Okay, yeah, no, that's a good one. It's I almost I forgot about it though because it came out so long
Mhm.
ago.
Yeah.
Like I saw it when I think when it came out, but no, it's a good one.
Kobe, no relation,
No
said,
relation.
it's kind of funny. He said mercy.
Okay.
So I threw it up on his answer. I threw it back up on the story, and then he DM'd us saying, I actually meant to say misery.
Oh, okay.
So I
When
don't
I
know if it was a
saw Mercy,
typo or what. He was like, I ain't never seen this shit.
it's funny. I saw that one and I was like, I don't know this movie. I was
Yeah.
like, I know I was literally thinking about like I know Misery. I don't know Mercy. I was like, maybe I gotta add that to the list. That's hilarious.
But the funny thing is, because I googled it, Mercy movie Stephen King, and there is a Stephen King adaptation called Mercy.
Oh, really?
So yeah, so that's what, like I threw up the poster out. So I was like, okay, this is what this is what his
Yeah,
answer is. Okay, oh, this is what he likes. Okay, cool. As like so,
that's
just based on the
hilarious.
typo but there is a movie that falls under the criteria. That's what are the odds of that?
That's perfect. No, that's perfect. That's hilarious. I was literally like scratching my brain. I was like, I don't know that one. I've never even heard of it.
Yeah.
But hey, there you go. He meant
Um.
Misery though.
Yeah, he meant Misery, which I've heard
Yeah,
is super good.
yeah.
Um. So what's your answer? Your favorite Stephen King adaptation?
That's tough, but I'll probably it's kind of like it's gonna come off as a generic answer, but it's a true answer. It's probably Shawshank. It's
Mm,
Shawshank or it's it.
okay.
Because Shawshank, obviously there's so much hype around it. It's the highest rated movie on IMDb,
Is it?
I went into
Oh,
it
cool.
is, and I went into it and not even real. I watched the whole movie and I saw based on a Stephen King novel. I'm like, of course.
Yep.
I'm like, and you wouldn't expect because it's not a horror movie. He has a lot
Right.
of things that aren't horror, but obviously the horror movies are the most popular ones. But I don't know. I just really like that film.
That's yeah. It's
I
fantastic.
like prison dramas. Like Prison Break was one of my favorite shows, and this was just like a very different take than Prison Break. Very much more. Prison Break got dramatic, but this was a lot more grounded, and like I learned things about like the prison dynamic that I just didn't know, and I was like, oh, it's kind of learning a bit because I've never been to prison, don't know much about prison, so it kind
Hmm.
of teaches you a little bit about that whole prison dynamic. So I thought that was really good, and then it was just like it's scary, but it the cinematography, as weird as it sounds, talking about a demon clown movie, is it's like top notch. Like it's insane. Like some of the transitions, like characters like running through this, and then suddenly it's just into the next scene. I'm just looking over. I'm like, bravo, that's a great.
Yeah.
I love the transitions, and that movie just blew up.
Oh yeah.
That movie was so popular.
Yeah. I mean,
But,
I was gonna say so was Shawshank, but that was the crazy time where it was in theaters with it was what Shawshank, Forrest Gump, and I feel like there was another all timer all in
oh, Pulp
theaters at the
Fiction
same.
came out that
I think
year.
yeah,
I don't know
that's
if
it.
and then the Lion King came out that year too.
Yeah,
It
that's
was I know it
insane.
was a big year, and it
Yeah,
actually bombed at the box office,
right, exactly. That's what I'm
which
saying.
is wild. And then
Probably
it's
in
become
part because of that. Like it was just buried by
yeah,
Pulp Fiction and Forrest Gump. But
no, exactly.
I mean, that's a Shawshank's one of my favorite movies. That's another one that's like it kind of takes you on a different because yes, it's a prison drama, but like like a prison escape and everything. But like it's not really about that.
No, it's
It's
not.
about kind of like this. It's about relationships and like the system, and there's good guys, bad guys. Like it's a great
And
movie.
that's the best. That's
All
why I
time
say when
twist.
I see the Stephen King things and the adaptations are like this, because sometimes people will take his books and be like, "Oh, this concept's so cool," but then they lose the fact that like no, the best ones is when you like you really tap into the characters he built because he makes these
Mm-hmm.
really interesting, cool characters. Don't just
Mm-hmm.
take the concept of the long walk and be like, "All right, now take all that backstory stuff. Let's just get into the kills and all that stuff." And sometimes people do that with his movies, and those ones don't do as well. They'll be like fun, and people be like turning the cult classic, like, oh, that movie's really fun. But like really tap into those characters as much as you can with maybe like the runtime, what the producers say. But like those usually end up being the best ones where people are like, oh yeah, that performance was great. Like people aren't usually even talking about they will talk about the premise, but they're really talking about like all the way those characters made me feel and stuff like Stand By Me obviously is a great example of that, where it's just like premise alone, it's really not much.
There's
that
no yeah, that's nothing.
yeah, and you pick that movie because you're like, oh, these characters, like we gotta, and that's the majority of his movies, to be honest. The ones that like really, even it, like it is like those kids are freaking hilarious. It makes me think of these kids, makes me think of the Stand By Me kids. Like you go into it and it's like these kids are like, well, like 9 or like 10, and they're just cussing each other out, making mama jokes and being like, oh, like F you. Oh, like how's your like you tell your mom to come over to do this, like, and it's just hilarious. And it's within this world where there's a demon chasing them, but like
Yeah.
boys are gonna be boys and they're still gonna make mama jokes, and it's just it's just
Yeah.
so funny.
Yeah,
And
like
this movie's good at
don't
that
dumb it
too.
down. Don't dumb it down. Keep the
No.
depth of the characters. Keep that, like that's what's so great about this stuff. And you mentioned Stand By Me. That's my answer. That's my favorite Stephen
Yeah.
King film.
No, it's
I mean,
great.
for me, not being a horror movie guy, there's a lot that I haven't even seen,
Yeah.
and just like it's just something that is not as much for me. So like having
Mhm.
like the Stand By Me, like not having any horror aspects at all, just
Yeah.
it's more for me. So it makes sense that it's better for
Yeah.
elevated more for me. But that movie is like perfect. Like I wouldn't change a thing
No, it's
about that
great.
movie. I love that movie. We have a whole episode on it, by the way. Go back and listen.
Yeah, go check it out. 100%. It's
Awesome
great.
movie. That's my
Uh,
answer. I do have one other thing to contribute to the family meeting. Oh,
okay.
I know you do too, but
Yeah, I got something too.
I had because for this movie, The Long Walk, there was
Mhm.
a screening. I don't know where or when it was, but that there was treadmills
Oh,
in the
okay.
theater. We were going at the 3 miles per hour,
Yeah.
and the people, the viewers, had to walk the whole duration of the movie. And if they stopped, they
Mhm.
would get kicked out. They wouldn't die, but they would get kicked out of
Yeah.
the movie. And
That we know of.
yeah, that's true. And so I asked people on the story too. I said, like, would you watch a movie like this? Would you do this?
Mhm.
And 38% of people said, yeah, sure, as long as I can have my popcorn, yeah. But then
Yeah.
62% said, yeah, no shot. I'm not doing that. What about
Would you?
you? Well,
Oh, okay. I'll answer first. I'll
yeah, yeah.
answer first. I think it'd be kind of fun. Yeah, why
Okay.
not? Honestly, it's like there's just that competitive nature in me, especially if it was like if you
Okay,
do it with a
Daniel
bunch of your
Plainview.
boys. Yeah, whatever. But if it was like you do it with your bunch of your boys, you'd be like, yeah, why not? You know what I mean? Let's
Yeah.
like I'm interested in the movie, so if I did get out, I'd still want to come back and watch it like normally. But like, hey, why not? Like this is kind of like a cool. When am I going to get this opportunity to be in like a theater with a treadmill? You know what I mean? Like, there's no other time that's ever going to be set up for me. So it's like, I might as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Would you
I'm,
prefer it though, or would you
I wouldn't
prefer just?
prefer it.
Yeah, yeah.
No, I just prefer
Is
like
there
I
like
watched it this time.
is there a like a runtime cap? Like you're not going over 2 hours or something? You know, like if you're watching a 3 hour movie on a treadmill, that's a long time.
That's a good question. Like, I don't even know. Part of me wants to go now. Part of me was thinking about this. Like, you just go walking out, and I guess you kind of look at your smartwatch and kind of like see how fast you're going. But I'd want to go on a treadmill and just kind of keep that pace and see like how
How
long
fast it
could I do
actually
this for
is.
an hour? I wouldn't sit in the gym and actually try to do it for an hour, but I'd be like, how tough is this? And kind of get a sense of like, okay, yeah, this is actually pretty. This is pretty crazy.
Yeah, yeah.
But what
Because I
about do
mean,
you?
based on
Yeah,
the movie, I don't. I mean, I don't know how accurate the speed that they were walking was, but like they were moving pretty quick. Like
yeah. No, they
they're
won't
not
pretty.
running at all, but it's like
No,
it's a decent pace.
decent pace. No, 100%. There's not
Yeah.
much. It's not so fast that you see like the hips moving, like you see like speed walkers.
Yeah, yeah,
They can still keep like it's like a very brisk walk. It's not like a okay, I need to get some hips into this because I
yeah,
really need to go. Those guys are going really fast, but
yeah,
but no, they would. What did you answer? Did you say if you would do it or
I feel like I'm kind of like you. Like, why not? Sure, I'd do it.
yeah? It's not ideal.
Yeah, it's not like
Definitely
I'm
not
lining
ideal.
up like, oh my god, did you hear that they're showing a movie on a treadmill? Like, I gotta go see it. But like, if I could get early access to a Stephen King movie I'm excited about, and I gotta walk on a treadmill for it, yeah, sure.
So I'm saying if they told me I got to watch an Avatar movie, I'd say God no.
What's your beef with Avatar? You don't like Avatar?
No, that is 3 hours and 20 minutes.
Oh, just okay. I see.
Just
Yeah,
the
yeah.
runtime.
Okay, yeah.
I wouldn't make it. I mean, I'm putting that on myself. Maybe I could, but
You could make it
I just
with a
wouldn't
gun
want
to your
to
head.
do
You could
that.
do it.
I just wouldn't want to do that for 3 hours. I feel like it'd just be very uncomfortable,
Yeah.
especially if we're doing it for the pod. And I'm taking notes and I'm making sure I'm at pace. You know what I mean?
Warning one,
Yeah.
number 72.
exactly. So yeah, I no beef with Avatar. I like the Avatar movies, but
Okay.
I got a. Well, do you have any other things
No.
for the
Do
family?
your
I
do your
got.
shout out.
I want to shout out. Well, I got two shout outs. We got
Okay.
one shout out on the YouTube videos on our TIFF episode from El Sergey Cruz. I don't know how to say this name because it's all in one. El Sergey Cruz. I'm
I
assuming
feel like
that's how it's
I feel like
probably
that's pretty
broken
good.
up.
Yeah.
But his comment was, "Fresh start, fellas. Feel like a totally natural conversation, like I'm sitting in the room with you guys." Which is it's kind of interesting because we got that similar comment before too,
Mhm.
where someone said that they feel. I can't remember who exactly it was.
I think that was Mad Max.
I think it was Mad Max.
Shout out
And
Mad
yeah,
Max.
appreciate you, Sergey Cruz, El Sergey
Yeah.
Cruz.
Yeah, I appreciate
That's
it. That's
we
exactly what we're going for.
That's exactly what we're going for. And speaking of Mad Max too, I was shouting him out. We didn't shout him out on the podcast, but I mean, it's a little comment, but I still, especially for this movie, I wanted to shout out because I realized the connection. He said, "Oh shit, I didn't realize you guys were Canadian too. Sending love from Winnipeg." And I thought that was crucial to mention too because the movie was filmed in Winnipeg.
I know. That's I
So I was
didn't
like,
realize that till
I didn't
after.
realize
Like,
that either. So I was like, oh, I definitely got to shout out that comment too. So
yeah,
shout out
our
Max
fellow
and the Peg.
Canadian.
I don't know if they call it the Peg out there,
The
but
peg. I don't think
Peg.
they do. We should start that though. The peg. I like
Peg.
that.
I
The
don't know.
peg?
I don't know what they call it. I met some people from Winnipeg. This is like the high. I got black friends. I met. This is a long time ago. I was on a trip in Alberta, and I met some kids that went to Winnipeg. I can't remember the Winnipeg University, whatever their biggest university. I met some kids from there, and they just felt like normal people. You know what I mean? There's not that
Yeah,
much
I mean,
from
yeah.
province to province. Maybe people have different accents, but they didn't really sound that different.
I wonder
So
why they
shout out
filmed in
Winnipeg.
Winnipeg. That's such a. I feel like that's
Yeah, I
a
know.
weird spot for like, and based on the premise of the like, you could film this anywhere. Like, why?
Yeah, I don't
Winnipeg?
know.
Maybe they got a
I
bunch
guess
of tax breaks or something.
probably. I mean, whenever they come to Canada, I always assume it's for a cheaper reason. But usually it's
Yeah.
being Vancouver and Toronto. But now it's those places are probably gotten pretty expensive now because now it's no secret. Hey, we can shoot in Toronto and Vancouver for cheaper. Everybody
Yeah.
knows that now. So now maybe Winnipeg's the new place now.
Maybe.
Maybe.
But
That's all I got.
Then it'll be WIF, Winnipeg International Film Festival soon.
Yeah,
maybe.
yeah. It's getting creative. Every province is gonna be another. We got SIF. We got Quiff when it's in Quebec. Yeah, that sounds kind of weird. Yeah. But no, that's all I got. That's all I got from the family meeting.
Yeah.
I don't know
same.
if that's all you got.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get into our deep dive. The first thing I kind of wanted to go talk to about is just like the tone. Like we were talking about a little bit in our general thoughts, how we're talking about how it's gruesome and stuff like that. I'm curious, what was your expectations going in, and like what you thought about how like the tone of this movie?
It's a good question. I don't know. I kind of went in with a blank slate. I didn't know anything about the book. I basically like the premise got me, and I was good from there. I was like,
Okay.
it's enough for me to just go check this out. I didn't really have any idea of what the tone was going to be. I mean, the fact that
More
it was
so your opinion. Like on just like did you expect it to be as graphic as it was? Because that surprised me. I didn't know we were gonna. They basically show any. Besides the main characters, even some like the smaller characters, you see the kills. Like
yeah.
I was just assuming it was gonna be kind of like, okay, shoot, and then maybe like a cutaway. You just hear like the gunshot. People like shrug their shoulders like ooh or whatever, or like from a distance.
Sometimes they do that, but
sometimes,
but there is like 4 or 5 like real close up headshots that we see.
Yeah.
But even on top of that, stuff like when they just like drop their pants and they're just like shitting on the ground, like stuff like that.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
like they actually show them doing that, and it's like you don't have to. You could have that off camera, and you could just like mention it, like, oh, that guy's shitting on the street over there. But like, no, we're gonna get a close up of this guy's ass while poop's coming out, and so like, yeah, I just wasn't expecting that. But the fact that it's it's rated R in a horror movie. I mean, I guess I expected it to a certain extent, not all the way there, but I mean, I talked about I like the ebbs and flows out of like tensions and tone, like tone shifts. So I thought that was actually done super well. Like it's kind of funny that in a story like this being what it is, it's one long walk. That's literally the whole movie. But you can actually come in and out of scenes. Like they do it mostly with like time skips or like distance skips, I guess. They tell you where they're at mile 225 or whatever. But so yeah, like they would just kind of come in and out from murdering somebody, and everyone's kind of freaked out on edge or or they're yelling at each other or whatever, and then you kind of skip, and then they're just, I guess like it's been a few hours, so they've had a little time to kind of decompress, and now they're just like talking, chopping it up, being normal guys.
Yeah, and something we've talked about on the podcast, in a numbers episodes, is tonal shifts. And
Mm-hmm.
to me, I didn't know. Again, I never read the book either, and I actually kind of want to read the book now, with kind of just knowing that it expands more, because in this they only actually have 50 people in it, but actually in the book it's 100.
Oh,
Yeah, so I'm kind of curious to see, and then obviously it's a book, so then obviously you can get way more story, and like I'm pretty sure it's a longer book too. So I'm just kind of curious, how much more that they left out of like certain characters, and maybe some characters, there was a whole other character that was had a more of a role, but like, and we don't have long enough of a runtime, so we're only going to
yeah.
focus on like these four or whatever it is. So that actually makes me kind of curious, especially knowing it's like how character based this book is, that I feel like I can still watch it, even though just watching the movie, and still get some more entertainment from that. So I'm curious about that. But
Well, that's
with the
actually one like thing that, because the characters in this movie are so great, and you could tell
yeah,
there's so much depth there. They all have their own little like mannerisms or their own little traits. You know, you have the guy with that's Catholic, Art,
yeah,
so
yeah,
he's
art,
religious. You have obviously our main guy whose name is Garrity, and
yeah,
his whole background with his dad and everything. And then there's his buddy who with the scar on his face, and we get the backstory
Peter,
there. Peter. There's
yeah,
the Asian dude that like is chewing his gum, doesn't want to litter, and like there's just
yeah,
all of them have these little things that just give us a little more about them. I'm sure in the book there's even more, but that's
oh
actually
for
one
sure,
thing that kind of leads to one knock that I had on the movie was
okay,
kind of like, I feel like because of the shorter runtime of this, and you have all the depth in his characters, you're giving them a little bit. But then I felt like some of the moments, because there's a lot of kills in this movie, right? Like basically every
yeah,
time there's a time skip, like someone's dying,
yeah,
and so each character kind of gets their scene, I guess. But it felt a
mm,
little rough. I honestly think this movie could have done with an extra 15, 20 minutes just to give
yeah,
a
no, I
little
agree,
more time, so that like when a character gets taken out or whatever, it can hit a little bit harder. Some of them I'm like when there's the time shifts, or the, a new scene starts,
yeah,
and then it's away from our two main guys, and they're talking to like the indigenous guy, right? Like he's suddenly part of
yeah,
the conversation. I'm like, okay, this is the scene where he's dying, and then he does it, and I'm just
yeah.
like, that kind of, I don't know. I feel like I could have gotten a little bit more here to really punch it home.
Yeah, no, it's fair. Like the way I kind of took my notes, and I don't know if you wanna come with me along on this journey as we go through it. Like
Of
I kind of
series
just
of kills.
wrote down. I know I wrote down all the like the characters that like I feel like we have to actually know, and I kind of want to
Mm,
go through them, and then I let it up
sure.
until we get to our main characters. So the first person I want to kind of talk about is like the Major. So
Okay.
like that's like our big bad in the movie. He's what did you think of that character? Like I don't know, again, I don't know the book, so I don't want to keep referring back to the book. I don't know about the book. But as far as the character, the Major, to you in this movie, how did you feel about him?
I mean, I thought he's a good antagonist, for what
Yeah.
he is. Like he's just very singularly driven.
Mhm.
He's got his idea of like, we need to build it back up by hard work, and this is how we do it, by basically spreading this like, yes, it's pushing that like idea, I guess, of hard work, perseverance. You keep walking and you survive and you win and you get all this awards and stuff. But it also is kind of at the same time, kind of like the Hunger Games, a way of
Yeah.
controlling the population.
Mhm.
But I will say, like, I'm not a Mark Hamill fan, and that like the voice was just, I hated it.
Oh, really?
I hated it. All right, boys. You made it to mile 200. There's some glory in that. He sounded like the big slug in Monsters Inc. Like
Oh, yeah,
Mike
that's shit.
Wazowski.
That's actually
You
that's a good
forgot to put in
comparison.
your paperwork. You know what I mean? I was like, I don't know. I didn't like the voice.
So you don't like Luke Skywalker, huh? You don't
Not
like
as
him in
a,
this.
he's Mark Hamill is not good in Star Wars. He's not a good actor.
I've never seen the Star Wars movies, so
Uh,
I did.
yeah,
So I guess I'll find out, and I'll have my opinion on whether I
yeah,
like them or not. But no, it's interesting. I see what you're saying. Didn't really bother me that much. His character felt like very cartoonish. Out of all the characters,
yeah,
and to talk about like how grounded, how interesting they were, he's just like, okay, that's our bad guy. He's
yep.
like the classic like drill guy. I just kind of went like, we're not getting like a flashback from him, so I wasn't like, oh man, like it felt like he was just very much like he's just our face of the guy we're not supposed to like. I'm like, all right, cool. So
Mm,
I'm okay with that. So
yeah,
I get that.
yeah,
I get that. I do have a funny Mark Hamill story though, even with you not or yeah, Mark
yeah. Mark
Hamill,
Hamill.
yeah,
Yeah.
even if you're not liking him, I thought it was kind of funny. He's in an interview he mentioned he was actually at TIFF last year, and because he's in the Wild Robot. I don't know which character. I forget which character he plays in the Wild Robot.
Oh.
But he said that Stephen King, because Life of Chuck was at TIFF last year, so Stephen King was actually at TIFF also last year, and he came to his showing, and he like went over and shook his hand. I thought this story was funny too because he came over and shook his hand. And he's like, oh, yeah, I went over to Stephen King, and I was like, this is how I knew I was a good actor because I went over, I shook his hand, and be like, good day to you. And then inside I was like, oh my god, that's Stephen King.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
I
yeah,
thought that was funny because like yeah, such like such like a legendary author. It'd be cool to meet that guy, especially just someone like you don't have to necessarily be in a movie industry or like any of that to be like, oh, cool, that's Stephen King. This guy's fucking
yeah,
legend.
yeah.
But I thought that was cool. Then another character I had was like Curly, which is like he's one of like I think he is the first death, like number 7. He's the one that gets like the Charlie horse
The young
death.
guy. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, which I was like, what a whack ass way to go out. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. I mean, he was just supposed to be like our likable. Like, it's smart that like that's kind of the first guy that they take out. He's just like the young kid. Obviously, you don't want to see a young kid die,
yeah,
and it's a weird dynamic with like everyone starting out. Like they're all becoming friends and like
mhm,
helping each other and rooting for each other, but also competing against each other,
yeah,
and they know that all of them are going to die except for one. So like it's just it is a weird dynamic, but the way that they're just so normal with it. But
yeah.
yeah, so when he dies, it's kind of like, damn, didn't want to see that guy go. We won the most for that kid.
No, 100%. And it is like these varying levels of certain characters. And again, we know what we're getting to. Some characters had a little more than others. We get like these very small glimpses. Like there's Richard, who's like number 49. Like he comes in, like he establishes, like, oh, I'm writing the story for this. I'm like, yeah, you're not gonna finish your story, bud. Like
Yeah, yeah.
I already know what's going on here. And then obviously like there's like that guy that never talks, like Tesla, who's number 24. He's kind of just like playing music, and then he later on just kind of like
Mm,
runs, like takes off his clothes too, which I don't know why he
yeah.
did that. And then he runs and then gets shot. Like I thought he was about to do something different. And then I was like, because there was another guy that kind of just tried to run off.
Yeah, there was a
And
guy.
the
He
same
was,
thing.
I think he was an unnamed character. Like but
Yeah.
he was tried to run into like a store, and
Yeah,
one of the
exactly. And
rules
just
is
got
if you
popped.
leave the pavement, you get shot
Just
right
get
away.
popped. Yeah, right
Yeah.
away. And you talked about the indigenous guy too. His name was Coley.
Mm,
And they I have like I go back and forth on how I feel about that character too, because I feel like he was established in there as being somewhat one of them because they kept going back to him,
hmm.
but he didn't really get anything until he got his moment. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like there's the kind of like the Brockovich thing, like when Brockovich like is kind of like that jerk who's kind of like he kind of like struggling with the fact that he murdered that guy because he was kind of messing with them, and like that's when Coley kind of be like, oh yeah, you're a murderer, like F you, and we see him give like the middle fingers just like to the cops and stuff like that. But with him, I feel like we didn't get too much until he got his moment of him just like
Yeah.
grabbing the gun, stuff like that.
Yeah, so that's why to me like it felt, I don't even want to say unearned, but like I just feel like there could have been more to really make that death meaningful, cuz there are some deaths that are very meaningful in this
Hmm.
movie, and it really pulls at your emotions. Some of them not as much, which I mean is fair. Like
Yeah,
if you have a lower build character, you're just not going to care as much, which makes sense. But like this guy, like you said, it felt like it should have meant a lot. I mean, the way he goes out was
no,
nasty. Like
crazy.
one, he
Yeah,
takes out one of the guards, so
yeah,
respect to him. Then he takes himself out. But you're right. They do at least give him a little something when Brockovich is like antagonizing that guy. He's like, "Hey man, stop it, whatever. Like, just leave him alone, leave him alone." And then he dies, and then Brockovich starts freaking out, and he's like, "Yeah, fuck you, fuck you." Like
yeah,
he's at least on the right side of it. I mean, everybody was except for
yeah,
Brockovich. Like that moment, I didn't like as much because it's just like he does this thing, antagonize, and then he dies, and then he like immediately is like, "What? I didn't mean for that to happen. Like I didn't kill him, right? It wasn't me." And I'm like, "What are you talking? You just
Yeah.
didn't stop. Everyone was telling you to stop, and you just kept going, kept going, kept going. And then what did you think was gonna happen? Like
Yeah.
I
No, that's
didn't
a
like
good
that.
point. I think to me it was the second one. I think it could have worked off just the first. Like antagonize the guy the one time and just be like, that's how crucial like 1 second is. Like
Mm,
you mess with a guy, he falls over, and because he's just so tired, it's hard for him to get back up, and then gets popped, and you'd be like, oh snap! Like I was just messing with the guy. I didn't mean to. So then he can actually have like a basis of
right,
argument.
right.
It's the fact that he messed with them like a couple times. I think it was like almost 3 times.
Yeah,
The
we
guy
get
saw him
three
like three
warnings.
times, and I was like, okay, dude, like it almost felt like you're trying to get someone killed. It didn't
Yeah,
feel like messing with them. It felt like you're
right.
actually trying to get this guy killed. So
Yeah,
I do agree
exactly. I
with you
felt the
on
same
that
way.
point. I when I
Yeah.
did see that scene, I was like, is he serious? That was a character that was like, in a good way. I was confused by Brokovich because I was like, is he measured, or is he just like, because he's very sporadic, like this
Hmm.
character. Like it almost I got like what's it called? I got like what's it called? A connection to like James from Weapons. You know what I mean? He almost seemed like he was kind of like a
Oh yeah.
junkie. You know what I
Okay.
mean? Like he felt very just like, oh man, like he's smacking his head. I'm like, is this guy like like relapsing or something? Like I don't know what you got from that character. Like I'm curious. Like I have more points, but
Yeah, I
what did you
assume
get from that character?
I kind of I guess they never really say anything about it,
Yeah,
but I guess I kind of was thinking maybe he had maybe he like was abused or like neglected maybe like from his parents. Like I feel like he was maybe in that space where like he didn't have like a leadership around him kind of
yeah,
thing. So he was that's what caused it. Maybe it was some mental illness or something that he was going through, but like that there was moments that I liked about him as well. Like when he gets his moment and he dies, right? When he's like, "Hey man, like it wasn't me, right? Like I just want can
yeah.
I be part of your team? Like can I be one of the guys? Can you talk to them?" And you know,
Mhm.
like so we get that a moment of empathy for him where he like that actually felt real where it's like, okay,
Yeah,
he's been here now we're like days later. You've had a chance to like absorb and digest kind of what's going on. There's been people dying left, right, and center. Like that would change you. I understand that. So that moment I liked.
yeah. No, I agree. I have two things about that, which I do like that scene, but it also made me kind of laugh too because it's the classic movie thing. Like I don't know if you ever seen that trope of like when something's happening, you're like your character's in the front of the screen, and then someone walks in the room like, oh snap, and all they do is just go out of frame, and it's
Mm,
like, did they actually hide anywhere? Or they're just out of frame now because like we just can't see them. But where did they hide? Like there's actually nothing for them to hide. And to me, when he was talking to Peter or like Ray, sorry, being like, oh, can I be one of the guys? Like they're not whispering, they're talking
yeah.
out loud, and then he
Yeah.
just turns over like, "Yeah, I'll talk to them." Like they're like 2 feet away. They didn't hear that conversation. You guys are whispering. You're
No,
talking
yeah.
out loud, and what they've established in the movie is like when someone's talking out loud, everybody can hear it.
Right.
So
Yeah,
that part
I
kind of
thought
made me
Garrity
laugh.
was kind of just like just being like because again like he knows that P can hear him. He knows that everyone can hear him, but he was just like he was just being nice to him, right? He's like
Yeah,
because like everyone else on this journey is like they're helping each other out. They're very empathetic to each other. Nobody wants to see anybody else die, really. But so I think he was just kind of being nice. He's like, yeah, I'll talk to him, knowing full well that
yeah, they
he
all
heard
heard
everything
that.
that he just
Yeah,
said. Yeah.
but I think there was a little moment because I think Pete was like, "What's going on?" And he whispered to him like. And I was like, "You didn't just hear that? All right, whatever." This is the whole framing thing. If since it wasn't in framed, no
He's
one
gone.
else. Yeah,
He's gone.
exactly. It's just like, where'd you go, bro? Like you were gone for like 5 minutes. Yeah, you weren't in frame, dog. That's why.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
But
That's the way it goes.
there was this little part of me that really enjoyed that scene because I really didn't know where it was going because like I was saying, this guy's so sporadic. He's unpredictable. He's saying, "Can I be part of the guys?" But does he really want to be? Is he gonna turn on somebody? Like, is he gonna? I actually thought he was gonna straight up just like kill somebody, or
Mm.
because he ended up stabbing himself. But I easily thought, especially when he's close to Pete, is he gonna like get him in the stomach or something, or get somebody else? Like, how wild is this dude? Because he's freaking out. He's slapping himself in the head and stuff. I was just
Hmm.
like, I was very intrigued by that character and shocked the way he went out. I figured he was gonna go, but I did not think it was gonna be like that.
Yeah. I didn't think so. Yeah, I definitely didn't think it was going to go like that. But I mean, because also another thing about him was earlier on, Pete's kind of like they're all yelling at him when he like basically kills that kid for the first
Yeah.
time. and he's like, well, fuck you, Pete. I got plans for you.
Yeah,
So I was like,
exactly.
so immediately what my head went to when I heard that, I was like, is he gonna like tackle him and like hold him down,
And like they
and then
both have to
they
go.
both get taken out? You know what I
Mm.
mean?
Yeah, no, that's true. I didn't know exactly, but I was thinking along those lines too. When he said I got plans for you, I'm like, oh my god, I'm like, this guy's gonna get somebody, man. I'm
Yeah.
like, but they didn't end up going that way. Which again, this is another reason why I want to read the book too, because just him, that dynamic of him being like really stressed out about like, oh, did I kill that guy? Like, am I a murderer? I'm imagining in the book maybe they go more in depth with that. I know,
Mm.
I have seen some, and again, I was really vague with seeing because I didn't, I want to read the book, so I didn't want to see like everything revealed to me. I'm just kind of curious to see like how long did he struggle with like, am I a murderer? Like what did like, nah, I'm not a murderer. And like then that's what drove him to whatever he did. Or maybe he didn't end up killing himself in that in the
In the
book.
book, yeah, I don't know.
But I thought that was a really interesting character. And Hank, it's like Olson, like the guy that were classic Stephen King character, like the Asian guy, like the potty mouth and everything. Like he very much felt like he could have been hanging with those kids in Stand By Me. Like he would have fit in with those kids, even though he's not. We find out later he's not a kid. He
True.
had a
He's got a
whole
wife.
wife, and I was like, that
Yeah.
dude looks so young. A wife?
Yeah, that's true. Actually, I didn't even take in like the whole age thing. I mean, you get married young,
No,
and
you could get married.
this
Yeah,
is like an alternate reality that like
yeah,
I'm assuming like the life expectancy is maybe shorter after this
true.
big great war or whatever. Everyone, he even says, our country's in the shit basically. Like we don't have any money, we don't have anything, so this is why we have to do this thing. So I feel like, yeah, with just being in a more tumultuous time, maybe you just
Yeah,
get married younger because you're expected to die sooner.
no, that's true. And I did see say like I did see them say that this movie didn't really have a time because I think an interviewer was asking like, oh, what time period was this in? And they were like, well, we kind of just like made it as like it's just a dystopian future. Like the book was written in the 70s, and it was supposed to be probably like talking about like Vietnam, like that's the war, and like this is like
Ah,
a future war where like maybe we lost the Vietnam War, and now we're trying to get ourselves back to glory. But as they're making this movie in 2025, we didn't put a date on because there was never like a time date. Like even when the intro, they do like they just say the date. I think it was like May 1st or something first. I can't remember which day it was, but they didn't put the year after. They just put the month and the day they have to
see,
be
actually,
there.
I actually I was like a couple minutes late to the
Oh, yeah.
theater,
Okay.
so I was gonna ask you if I didn't know if I really even missed anything. Basically, when I walked in and I was getting to my seat, it was
Pete or
no,
no,
it was Garrity.
Ray. Okay, yeah. Raymond,
Is
yeah.
Ray? Is that his first
Raymond
name?
Raymond Garrity.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's the full name. Yeah. We're
Anyway,
both just saying the same thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it was him, like, and his mom, like, driving
Oh,
to the thing.
okay.
So I don't know what I
Oh,
missed.
so the only thing you missed was that. It was just
Okay.
explaining what this world is. It's like it this many people, can you walk the longest? I was actually kind
Oh,
of like
like the
in.
rules of the thing.
Yeah, and it was like they were getting they were getting received an email. It's like if you open up your email, like
Oh,
explain the
cool.
rules, don't do this, be here May 1st. Thank you for volunteering. And then it cuts into Raymond with his mom, and he's
Okay.
like packing his bags and all that stuff.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay.
So yeah, that's all you really missed. So yeah, they did right from the beginning. They didn't put a time on it. They just said the date and the months.
Yeah, you don't
So
really need one. I mean,
no,
it's
you
just
don't.
like it could even be taking place today, just in an alternate universe.
No, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the way the book says it is like dystopian future. So it's a dystopian future, and it's in 1979. So like that 2025 could be that dystopian future or
Yeah.
whatever it is. But
Yeah.
and then so yeah, again, yeah, it doesn't really matter. But what did you think about him? Like we were talking about how much we got from Brockovich.
Mm.
We got a lot of talking from Olsen, but I don't know if we got like as far like character wise. I don't know if you felt like you got enough from him or you
Yeah. I
cared
mean,
about him.
I I did. I did.
Mm,
I mean, even just like the way he goes out to when it's his moment, and he's just kind of like, I don't know if he's shell shocked or like coming to the reality that he's about to die or whatever, but
mm,
he's walking, but his like brain is turned off. Like he
yeah.
can't even like talk or respond or anything, but I mean, I guess, if you've been walking at a consistent pace for like days, your
Mm,
muscle memory, like your body would just like
keep
do it,
going. Yeah.
which makes sense. But I thought he had some interesting moments. I liked at least that like the scene where they're all talking about what they're gonna do with the wish.
Mhm.
and he's like, no, I want the 10 naked ladies.
Oh
Like, let's
yeah,
just, and he's married. Like, what the hell,
yeah.
man?
Yeah, I know. Now, yeah, now keeping that in mind is hilarious. Yeah, that got a big laugh in the theater too. He's like, yeah, but I don't want to pay for it. And then Peter's like, well, someone's gonna have to pay them for them to for them to go to you. And he's just like, oh yeah, I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
No, that part was pretty funny. And just like and then there was the part where they were going at like Raymond's mom too, and then everyone's just like, "Oh, your mom's like, I bet she's a looker," and everyone's just like starts throwing in their comments, and I'm like, "Oh, you guys, like, why did I even say anything?" Like, yeah, that whole
Yeah.
part, that again, just classic. It's just classic boys moment of just like that's the thing I liked about it too, where again, you don't need this in all the times, but it just feels very much like a Stephen King movie where you get these characters where you don't they're not polished in this way, and like you have these characters that just talk kind of like grimy or messed up because these people
Mm-hmm.
exist. It's kind of weird,
Mm-hmm.
like, and they're never really positioned. You don't have to necessarily position them as like your protagonists, like your good guys, but like to not have those is just like not realistic because there's gonna be these kind of guys, and sometimes it's funny, sometimes like this guy's messed up, but I feel like it's almost somewhat refreshing when you see this character. I'm like, oh yeah, this guy exists. Like this is real.
Yeah.
This doesn't feel like someone that doesn't exist.
Yeah, that's a good point of them not being polished. I think that's a good term to use because like
Yeah,
a lot of times in movies and like this is what movies are. They're
yeah.
dramatic. So you have people they talk perfectly and they, say and they come up with a quippy response in half a second when they're, when they're faced with challenges or whatever. But this is what Stephen King stories do so well is you take a
Yeah.
crazy concept and then put realistic people in it and just
Mhm.
see kind of how they would respond and it's done super well in this movie.
No, it does
Character is
super well.
great.
No, it is done super well. And like I looked it up, like Ben Wang, like the guy that played him too, like played
Mm.
Hank, like number 46. Apparently he came into like the table read with that accent, and like nobody told him to do it. Like he came in with that accent and like all the little quirks and all the gum chewing, and they were
No
kind of just
way.
like, okay, whatever. And like they're like, it's a little extreme the accent, but he just kept doing it, and they're like, okay, yeah, you can do that.
Yeah, I liked it. I think it
Yeah, I thought it
worked.
was good
It
too.
was
No, it
good.
was. I thought it was funny because I just was like bringing it. I was saying, "Oh, what a classic Stephen King character," and he was just like, "No, I'm gonna bring this Stephen King character, and
Mm.
even if my character's not written that way, I'm gonna bring it in." They're like, "You know what? Yeah,
He
that should be in
understood the
there."
assignment. That's
He understood the
respect. I
assignment. Yeah,
respect
no, which
that.
I thought no, I thought that was kind of funny. That's dope.
What what did you think of that scene overall? Like the 10 naked ladies, we find out that Art was saying he wants a rocket ship. Pete was saying he's like, I'm going to ask for two winners.
Yeah,
And then Garrity won't say it.
yeah,
He's like, I'm not going to tell you guys, but like what I picked could enact change. Like I want to enact change, but I won't tell you exactly how I'm going to do it. And then
hmm,
they go right into the chant, like, fuck the long walk, fuck the
yeah.
long walk. Like, what did you think when, like he wouldn't say it? Like, what were you thinking at that moment?
I liked it. I liked the mystery that of us not knowing. Like we got the mystery with Stebbins too because he was very like
Mm,
standoffish, and
yeah.
he just wouldn't give us anything. I like the fact that like they even established like Pete had the scar. Like, what about your scar? And he's just like, nah, I'm not gonna tell you. I'm like, okay, we're gonna get that later. And then
Mm-hmm.
even like Ray saying that, talking about that, and him being like, oh, I'm not gonna say. So it's like, okay, we're gonna find out these things about these characters, and but like they're saving it, which like it made me like, okay, when's it gonna happen? So I liked how they did it like that. They just like
Yeah.
someone asked and then everyone just dumps. Like have a little bit of like these are strangers. Like I don't know, and like everyone's a little bit like, hey, we're all gonna die except one person. Like there's a little bit of standoffishness, and obviously the bond slowly grows over time. But I like how it is a slow build to like people building trust and being like, okay, I guess I'll tell you.
Yeah, it's like like a little appetizer. Just,
Yeah,
I mean, the scar thing is just an obvious one. Like you
yeah,
see that and you're like, okay, this is clearly something, and we'll
yeah.
see, I guess, what happened. Or
And sometimes they don't. Sometimes there's
sometimes they
movies where
don't.
like
Yeah.
characters will have like these tattoos or like these very like like a scar or something, and like it's just their character trait and doesn't get explained. But I thought it was
Hmm.
interesting how I was like, okay, they're actually gonna talk about it, but they teased it
Yeah,
first.
yeah, and this scene specific, like we talk about how in the whole movie in general is just such a great dynamic of like the boys being boys, but like I like this scene specifically so much because like each of them, like the gift that they would are choosing is very telling to their character traits, right?
Yeah.
Like you have the Pete's very empathetic, and the guy was a tank, by the way. Did he even
Oh
get
my
any
gosh.
warnings the whole
Yeah,
movie?
I
Like
know.
he was just going, no
It's a
struggles,
good
helping
point. Yeah.
people. But like, and he wants the two winners, and then we find out with Garrity that he wants to end it because of his background when
Mm.
that reveal happens, and even Art and Hank with the rocket ship, 10 Naked Ladies, just more like classic fun guys.
Yeah.
Like
No,
they're just kind of there
100%.
for the ride.
I almost forgot what Arch was that he wanted a rocket ship. What
Yeah.
was his reasoning again? Like, why did he say he wanted the rocket ship? I completely forgot.
Shoot, I
Because
don't
I was
remember.
writing, I wrote all those ones down. I was in my mind. I was like, I don't remember. Maybe Scott will remember. Because
Yeah,
again,
I
we
wrote it
just watched them.
down
Like, what
because
is
I
that?
liked the scene, so I wrote it down because it was in contention for my best scene, but it's
Oh,
not.
okay.
It's
Yeah,
just a
yeah.
little
Okay, a little
spoiler, but
tease.
a
Yeah.
little tease. Yeah, hey, just like us, there's a scar on my face. What's it gonna be?
Yeah,
I'm not gonna tell you.
exactly. Yeah, exactly.
I don't remember why though. Shoot,
Okay.
let me see if I can find it.
I mean, it can't be. It's something
Probably
goofy,
not.
clearly, to get like a rocket
Yeah.
ship. But I like Art's character too because it's always interesting to get just like these different kind of characters. Like he was like our religious character, but again,
Hmm.
going back to the not polished, he's not like this perfect religious character. You know what I mean? Where like they even kind of question, they go back and forth on it, where it's just like, oh, so like you can smoke, but like you
Hmm.
can't swear. It's just like, well, I didn't see anything what the Bible says about this. So it's just like
Yeah.
having this, like, okay, this guy is like, he's religious, he's wearing his rosary and stuff like that, but he's not super polished. Like which is just, again, it's very realistic. It's just like, oh well, I have my faith, but there is like these like conflicting things that is just like a day to day person that people struggle with. So I kind of like that aspect of like having him have that with his character.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah. He was a good character. I liked him.
I don't know. You were talking about meaningful deaths. I don't know how you felt about his.
Yeah, that was
Like
a very meaningful one.
that was one that, and in a good way, was dragged out.
Mm.
You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Where it's just like we already established, like from a while ago. I was like, okay, this is definitely gonna be. I know he's not gonna be the last two, but he's definitely gonna be close at the end there because this is a guy, like this is their guy.
Yeah.
And him, like it's kind of gross too. Like obviously on purpose, we just really get to see how everyone gets really affected by, like, what's it called, Steppins gets sick. We get the
Yeah.
one dude, like the writer dude, freaking like breaks his
His ankle.
ankle.
Oh
Oh my
yeah, that was
God, that
nasty.
was so rough. And then that one guy just can't stop like crapping.
Yeah.
One dude starts like just like throwing up, and she's like, "Yeah, we're just going through all the thing. Like this is what was going to happen to the human body. Everyone's going to have these
Right.
different reactions." And him with the nosebleed, we don't necessarily know what it was, but I'm like, yeah, it makes sense. You've been walking for how long? Your body's just going to start breaking down. It's just
Right.
a matter of time with some of these guys.
Yeah, his death really hit. I mean, it was like because we already established the religious thing, right? So he has the cross necklace. He's like, "Give this to my grandma, man.
Yeah.
Whichever, if you guys make it, make a promise. You got to give this to my grandma." And then when he finally decides, because they try to talk him out of it a little
Yeah.
bit, like, "No, man, just keep walking, keep walking." And then he's like, "No, I can't do it anymore." And even just when he's like, "Just don't watch him do it. Let me ask you one
Yeah.
more favor. Don't watch him do it." Because he's just
Yeah.
like, it just hits you like, oh, he knows what he's about to go
Yeah.
into, and he's just asking these guys like, just let me go, turn your back on me, don't watch him do it. I want to go out with a little bit of dignity, I guess.
Yeah.
Give my grandma the thing. And you made the point, like, it worked out that it was dragged out, and this is what I was talking about. This one hit because we get so much time with him, and like
Yeah.
the pre-established traits of his character are paid off in this scene. Like, it makes
Mhm.
sense why he's doing these things when some of the other characters' deaths were a little rushed. I
Yeah.
think
No, for
we
sure.
could have
And
got,
again,
if we got more of those. Oh my
oh
god.
no, 100%. And that is the specific wording I think that really hits when you said that, like, don't look. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Like, it's like, yeah, guys, like, do me one more thing, like, don't look. I was like, ah, man,
Ah.
yeah. I was like, it's really happening, man. It's really happening.
Yeah.
He's 100% bought into, like, yeah, it's my time. I'm like, oh man. Of course, it's raining. Or
Yeah.
actually, no, I don't think it was raining at that point. I think it
No, I
started
don't
raining
think it
afterwards,
was.
but it was just dark. It was just
Hmm.
dark. The lights were perfectly, like, you just see a silhouette. We didn't get a zoom in for him.
Right.
They just had those showed our two characters not looking. You just saw him in the
Well, that's
background.
the
I was
thing, and
like,
he or the director, the filmmakers, they gave him his wish. We didn't look.
Yeah.
They didn't want the audience. So like he said, "Come on, guys, like please don't look." And then if they give a close up, it'd be like, "What the hell? We weren't supposed
Yeah,
to
I
see
know
that."
exactly. No, that is a good point. No, that is good. That is a good connection. I didn't even think about it. It would have been even funnier too if like the camera just turned, like, and we're all just looking forward, and we're all and it's like, well, we just hear it. And it's like, oh, oh.
Yeah,
But no,
that was a tough one.
oh no, that was a tough one. Now we got Stebbins too, which was, and this was my little teaser earlier where I said like the one issue
Mm,
with it,
okay.
and I think it's part of your issues that you had with some like, not I should say majority of the movie, but like sections of the movies where you're saying how I feel like we didn't get enough because we get he's very standoffish, doesn't want to be friends with them, which in his defense makes complete sense. Like when you really get into it, it doesn't make sense for these guys to be make friends with each other. It just makes everything so much harder. This is already a terrible situation.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'd probably lean a little more to his side where I'm like, I don't want to make friends with these guys. I
Yeah.
know what's gonna happen to these guys. That's just gonna make this whole process so much worse, and it's already hard to begin with. But we get that twist that he is related to the major, like that's like his dad or whatever. And
Mm-hmm.
to me, there wasn't much tease there for it to
Yep.
feel like a crazy twist where I was like, okay, well, this guy was never talking to us, and suddenly now he first time he really talks, so he's like, that dude's my dad. It's just like, okay,
Okay.
well,
Yeah. Like, what
yeah,
does that like? What does that even change here? What is that? Does that this is why you've been standoffish because you're like the it just yeah I agree. I didn't like that one as much too. It just felt a little meaningless. I
yeah.
honestly saw it coming. Like as soon as he starts talking, and I don't know why. I don't know what tipped me off, but I was like,
Okay, yeah, it's
the
interesting
Major's
you
his
said you saw
dad.
that coming because I was like,
Yeah.
I didn't know, I wasn't sure what the connection was gonna be, but
I don't, yeah,
you,
I can't remember exactly what it was that tipped me off. And
it's the way he's dressed, maybe because he's kind of dressed, kind
I don't
of
know, because I think he
military.
started. Yeah, I guess, but yeah, you just started talking about the major. I guess I was like, oh, but that's I felt maybe it's just because like it seemed like that was the easiest way to go, like
Yeah.
just the way that scene was going and just the way he's talking. I'm just like, is it like that's his dad? Like that's just like a simple thing, which is
Hmm.
what I don't like. Like if I could write the story myself, then I
Yeah.
like the twists and turns, like stuff that I'm not expecting. So this one, I don't know what tipped me off, but I don't
It's
know.
interesting too because I was thinking that there was some connection to him and this and the game or whatever it is, whatever you want to call it, because I was like, okay, this guy knows a lot about it.
Oh,
So it's
that's
gonna be
true.
a
Yeah,
he kept
that's
saying
what it
like,
was.
yeah, he kept talking about the rules, but like, oh, you can't
Yeah.
do this, can't do this. And I was like, is he like a mule or something? Do they always put one of their own in there
Ah.
for some reason? Like that's what I was thinking. But I was like, how does that make sense though? Like I never thought of any like relations thing, but I was like, is he someone that maybe I don't know about a mule, but yeah, I guess maybe well, I don't know if mule is the right term for it, but is he like a escape, like someone that's in there secretly that's like they put him in here and he always wins, but he's part of them, and that's like their
Right.
trick. They always put one of their own in there and they always win. And then it's just
Ah.
like we don't actually have to do anything to any. We don't have to give anything to anybody because our guy always wins. Like I was
Right.
thinking that that would maybe going to be the reveal. It
That would have
wasn't
been
that.
yeah. That would have been an interesting twist. I think you're right. It's the rules thing. Like he knows all the stuff because they're even asked like, man, how do you know so much about this or
Yeah.
whatever? And then I was like, just the classic like the antagonist, worst guy. Like this is that's a classic thing. That's just a movie thing. It's a trope thing that like the big bad. Oh, I actually am your father. Like it's
Yeah.
just
Exactly.
Mark Hamill's also right there. I was just
Yeah,
right
that's
there,
so
man. I
true.
was
Yeah.
like, this is
Maybe they're being
that's
cute.
his
Maybe that
dad.
wasn't even in the book. They just wanted to be cute. They just wanted to be cute with that. I didn't even think about
I
that.
mean, it was an added thing though that like he didn't know, right? He just has
Yeah,
so many illegitimate children that it's just like
that
there's
is
just a
true.
bunch of them around. So
That is
that
true.
added to his character a little bit to make us dislike him a little bit more, like we needed to.
Yeah, exactly. But but then we get into the last two. I was saving the biggest for last. I mean, we've been talking about them throughout, but just like Peter and Ray, like their whole dynamic, just them as characters, just like give me everything you got or anything you want to say
Yeah,
about those two.
they had a lot of depth. I
Yeah,
mean, they all did, but we get mostly on them. There are two main
yeah,
guys, and the Scar story gives us a little bit of it. You know, he's orphaned and he's got to fight
mm,
his way through life. A feel good story, I guess.
mm,
Not necessarily feel good, but makes us root for him.
yeah,
Um, it also kind of makes it make sense of why he was like a tank throughout.
yeah,
Like if he's been just fighting through life and has had a very difficult time. He's just is a fighter. You know, this is
Yeah.
what he does.
I think it was him that said my whole
Perseveres.
life has been the long walk. I think was it
Yeah,
him that
that's
said
true.
that? Yeah, that was
I
his
think.
line. So
Yeah, a lot of Family Guy moments in this. Eh,
yeah, that's true. Oh, I didn't even think about that. Yeah, that is a Family Guy
this is
moment.
a bunch. There's a
I think
bunch
I
though.
think
So
yeah, I
like,
was gonna say I think they do say the long walk a bunch of times.
a
You're
bunch.
right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, so no one just like pointed out to me.
yeah. So, but
Yeah, because
I
they say
liked
F the long walk. Like that in
yeah.
itself is a
There's a
whole yeah.
bunch.
Yeah, there's a bunch.
There's a
Yeah.
bunch. But I think I liked we get a bunch of scenes of like the two of them really,
Mhm.
but I liked the conflict kind of that Pete introduces when Garrity talks about wanting to kill the major.
Yeah.
Like this is why he's here. He's gonna ask for a carbine and shoot the
Mhm.
major. And then they have their back and forth where he's like, "You say you hate the system and you hate the people that are here watching it. Like fuck everybody that's involved in this whole
Yeah.
thing. But then why are you gonna end it? Because they're not involved in the thing." But like he just it just asks a great question. He says vengeance is not enough. Like you can't just do
Yeah.
it just for revenge. There's got to be more to it. If you don't believe in these people, if you don't like the people around you, then why are you stopping this thing? Like why are you fighting for them to stop it? I thought that was just an interesting question to ask and an interesting conflict to think about post movie.
No, it is an interesting conflict. And I think there's another layer of conflict that was also interesting too. Just with him finally fessing up about his background and telling that flashback story about like his dad and what happened with him,
Mm-hmm.
and Peter kind of being like, "Well, if you end up killing the major, they're probably gonna kill you. So like, you're just gonna do the like your dad left you." He's like, "You don't see that." And
Mm,
when you see that scene, you do kind of think about it's just like as a son, obviously you'd look at like, yeah, my dad's courageous, but like he made a decision. It wasn't like they pulled him out and then immediately popped him. They asked him the question, like, hey, basically, do you want to get popped in the head? Or
mm-hmm.
do you want to just fess up so you can be with your family? And he believed in his cause so much that he's just gonna have his son grow up without a father. Basically, well, he was
Yeah.
grown up, but have his family go on without him. So it's an interesting conflict. But just like made him think about, it was like, yeah, your dad made the choice to leave you. I don't know if you
Yeah.
realize that. And it's just like, oh shit, yeah.
Yeah, that's like I see both sides of it because like I get wanting to set that example for your son, like fight for what you believe in.
Hmm.
Um, if you this is my moral compass, like I'm not just gonna bend my knee to the oppressor and just say,
Yeah.
yes, I pledge allegiance to
Mm.
you in the system and everything. Like that just goes against all of his beliefs and
Yeah.
he can't do it. So he's setting that example. You gotta fight for what you believe in. But it is true, like you said, that like is it worth giving up those beliefs to then still be here for your son? Like,
Yeah. No,
I see both
100%.
sides.
And yeah, I 100% do too. And it's also like you could just say that just to preserve yourself and then keep pushing for
Right.
your whatever your thing is. You know what I mean? I don't think it's no one's gonna look at you. It's like, oh, but you said that thing. It's like, yeah, but I didn't. Obviously, you know, I didn't mean it. I'm trying
I
to
had a gun to
preserve.
my head.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Zach, I had a gun to my head, and I want to be here for you. Like, it's not like
Yeah.
he would
True.
have. His kid and wife would have been like, damn, really? That's crazy. You might
Yeah.
you should have got popped. Honestly, I don't know why you think dinner. You can eat dinner outside tonight.
Yeah. At least he would have been eating dinner still.
Yeah, exactly. Would have been eating dinner, but nah, it is interesting. Both those conflicts are interesting, interesting back and forth. And I thought it was there's another aspect to. I mean, those guys had, like we said, they had the strongest bond, and is really much like Peter even talked about like, oh, one thing I really wish I had was like a brother. You know what I mean? And like there always this is all we talked about how much this is with brothers, like brotherhood
Mm-hmm.
and him with just wanting to help people and his whole philosophy because based off his experience of just being what's it called attacked and realizing like hey it's another day. I just think the messaging and all that stuff it just ended up making it like really turn into like a really beautiful movie in that sense. It just all the stuff of like oh being grateful for another day, like how could I not be, like I was left for dead kind of thing, you know what I mean? And like all those moments kind of being thrown in there in such like a dark and gruesome movie, like having this character of light because it could have been all doom and gloom. Like everyone could have been like just
Mm-hmm.
miserable. So I think
Mm-hmm.
it was nice to kind of have that character in there and them kind of have their conflicting moments. And like you said, he was a tank. I
Yeah.
didn't really think about it until you mentioned like I don't think that guy ever had a warning. He
I think
might.
he only got warnings to help other people,
Yeah, I
to
think you're
go back
right.
and like that when that scene, like the hill
Mhm.
scene, when there's which is the only hill on this entire 200
Yeah, I
mile
know.
track, by the way. There's the signs like steep hill approaching, and like everybody, like half the field gets popped in this scene. And Garrity would have if it weren't for Pete pulling him up. What do you think of that scene? Like the tension really got cranked up for
Yeah,
that
no, I
one.
thought it was a really crazy scene. Like it was I mean it was so intense too because not even just the music as it like it
Mm,
just like a there was like a little tick 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 like ticking time clock as it was going, but also people were just getting popped left and
yep.
right. That
Yep.
was the most intense part of the movie where it was just like frequently because like you said before it was like usually it was built up like someone was having like a moment of like oh man like I'm really struggling and whatever the thing is, and then what happened happened. But this one, it was just like, no, it's like freaking a free for all. It's just
Yeah.
like us playing in the arcade, man. It was just like those just popping off, man. And just
Yeah, there was a bunch even like off screen. All the other ones, like you said, there's a build up. We know who's dying and
yeah.
how it happens. This one, you like there's you're just hearing gunshots. You're not
This
even
is how you
seeing
get
like
rid of
it's
side characters.
literally, yeah. This is like the side character purge. That's what this
Yeah,
scene is just take them out.
100%. What about you though? What did you think about it?
That scene, yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
it was like I talked about I love the ebbs and flows of tension. In this one, they just crank it up, and then I don't remember exactly what happens right after this, but they have a time skip moving forward, but
hmm,
then it comes back down, and then gets light, and then it like just this movie's just in constant movement in the way you're supposed to be feeling. Like that's something that I really enjoyed about the movie is just like you're being pulled in so many different directions emotionally,
yeah.
and this is a scene where it cranks it up a notch and gets your heart pumping a little bit.
Oh yeah, 100%. And there was like a little, just a little thing too. But and then after that, I want to talk. I want to talk about the ending. What's your thoughts
Mm-hmm.
on how
Mm-hmm.
it all like concluded? But that one aspect too, where they're like, "Oh man, you're lucky. You get to be in your hometown." And then Pete raises the question, like, "I don't know, is that a good thing or a
Is that
bad
better?
thing?"
Yeah.
And then we get the answer to that question, like when he sees his mom. Like at first he's all calm, and then immediately he's just like, "Mom, I'm so sorry, whatever." Like I like, and she's like, "No, no, keep walking, keep walking." And
Yeah.
like that
Yeah.
answers the question. I'm like, yeah, it might not be a good thing because like you might just completely fold like he did when you see your family. It's almost I would probably think I was leaning to them. I was like, I don't know if that's a good thing. Like before even I don't know what you were thinking, but like before that scene happened, I was like, yeah, I don't know if that's a good thing.
Yeah, I don't
Seeing your
know.
family as you're going through this,
Yeah.
or
I mean
maybe it would
it's
push you more to
that's
go
what I'm saying.
harder.
I feel like it would be maybe like if you're because you're getting your energy is getting drained, you're just going lower and lower and people are dying around you, like it's
Yeah,
just mentally, physically, everything is just getting drained, and then maybe seeing someone you love would kind of give you a kick in the pants, kind
yeah,
of like give you a shot of adrenaline, almost be like,
mhm,
all right, I got to keep going because I need to get back to my mom, type of thing.
yeah,
But like he kind of missed his opportunity there because his shoe got broken right before this. Like,
yeah.
mom, go get me a new pair of shoes, or
That,
something. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like,
that's so
because
true.
that was something where, like his shoe broke, and then like it didn't even slow him down. Like that didn't
No, it
affect him
didn't.
at all. Like
No, it
he
didn't.
kept walking like another 100 miles in his socks. I was like, what was the point of even having a shoe break if it had no impact on the story?
Yeah, no, it's so true. You know, apparently the actors actually did like walk. They in total they
Oh
walked
yeah,
261 miles.
that doesn't surprise me, bro. Multiple takes of like they're walking the whole every take. They're just walking.
And one dude, I can't remember the actor. Like I just it was in the interview, and the guy that plays Stebbins talked about. I can't
Mm,
remember which character it was, but one of the characters actually took off his shoes, and his feet were actually bleeding. Like he
damn.
actually got messed up because they were walking so much, and like a rare case of them actually shooting in chronological order. So like if you were one of like the last few, like you really walked,
You're
like
right.
you're
Yeah,
really
that's
going
true.
through
Eh.
it. And it was just like because they talked about it, was like yeah we got tired like they when we looked drawn out like yeah there was some makeup and like our clothes and stuff but like we were getting pretty tired.
Yeah.
And
That
like
makes
we
sense then why they would shoot it in sequence, because as you get further and further into the shoot, you're getting more and more worn down, which is
yeah
what the characters would have been going through too.
it's just a rare
Yeah.
case and I think it worked in this movie just especially because like there's not someone so big in this movie where it's like okay Leo's in this movie we gotta do all the Leo shoots first so then he can
Mm-hmm.
leave and then we'll go back just like everyone there's some big actors in here like they've been in other stuff but it
Mm-hmm.
wasn't like we gotta make sure that we film all his scenes first so then we like everyone was like nah we're locked in we're just gonna go all the way through.
Yeah, that is a good point. And also, like it's not like there's a big set piece that
Yeah,
like this is gonna take a whole bunch of planning and pyrotechnics techniques and
yeah,
CGI and rehearsals and all this. So like let's really hammer this home, get that scene done, and then we can move on. Like the whole movie is just kind of walking, talking,
yeah.
regular
Really
stuff.
bare bones. Like it
Yeah,
may sound like a lot, but just in comparison to like a lot of budgets, like I saw that the movie budget was only like 20 million, which is like
yeah,
that's a pretty like healthy budget. Like especially on the legs of like a horror movie, it has a lot of potential to make a lot of money in that sense. But like 20 mil, I'm like we're so used to hearing like hundreds of millions for budgets nowadays. So
yeah.
like 20 mil budget, that sounds cheap.
Yeah, well, and like you said, like with not having big stars,
Yeah.
that's how you save money as well. I mean, Cooper Hoffman being our number one guy
Yeah.
is I didn't even take it in until after I saw, but like he's Philip Seymour Hoffman's son.
Oh, he
So
is?
yeah,
Oh, I didn't even
so
realize
he
that.
so because he talked about because he died a few years ago in 2017, I want to say.
Mhm.
So he talked about like in the character in this movie lost his father. So like playing
Mm.
that character, he was like he shied away from it a little bit. Not for this movie, but before like characters like that.
Yeah.
And then he was like, no, I feel like it's important for me to like take this role and embrace. I feel like is the wrong word, but like for lack of a better word, embrace like that
Yeah.
part of his history to be like
Yeah.
so that people that have lost their father, he can they can see themselves in him and
Yeah, it
help
makes it
in a little
authentic.
sense.
Like
Yeah,
he's not shying away from it because like, well, I actually know what this character is feeling. Like I can
right,
actually demonstrate this and then it can tap into other people that have that same feeling that I have. So yeah, I get that
exactly.
in that sense. And it's also like I'm sure he's grieved. I guess you're never really done grieving, just different stages of grieving. So I guess it's another layer of grieving where it's like, all right, well, I guess I'm really gonna tap into how that made me feel and how I feel about it. And it's gonna come through my performance. And I hope it turns out great, which I think it did. I think he was really great in this. I wasn't too familiar with him. I saw that he was in like another PTA movie, Paul Thomas Anderson. We always say PTA for those that don't know. We're talking about Paul
Yeah.
Thomas Anderson, and he Licorice Pizza. I haven't seen that movie, but he's like the main character in that movie.
Hmm. Well, I mean, Philip Seymour Hoffman's in a bunch of PTA movies, so I think a
A
little
little nod,
nepotism. Yeah,
yeah,
nepotism probably helped him a little
a little
bit.
Denzel situation.
Exactly,
Yeah,
exactly.
and then David Johnson too, like the one that plays Peter. Like this wasn't the
Mm.
first time I saw him. He was great in and Romulus. That was like it's like I guess a sequel to Alien because it's supposed to be. I mean, there's so many Alien movies, but it's supposed to be kind of like after the events of like the original Alien, and like he plays an android, and he almost pretty much steals the show. And I was like, oh, this guy's a good actor.
Mm.
And then I was like, oh, I didn't realize he's going to be in The Long Walk, and he's one of the main characters in the Waste Man movie that we were going to watch at TIFF.
Oh, cool.
He's the main black guy. If you go look back and look at the picture, it's
Oh,
him.
shoot. Oh,
So
okay.
he's a pretty good actor, and like maybe this is his. Depending how good Waste Man is too, people are gonna maybe might start to know him. Like he's gonna
Put him on
start
the
to
map,
really,
maybe.
yeah,
Yeah.
100%. But now we're here. Let's talk about the ending. What do you think of how this movie concluded?
I didn't like the ending.
Oh, okay,
That's probably one of the biggest reasons, I guess, why I was like good, not great.
yeah,
I mean, that's always like the ending is
yeah,
arguably the most important part of a movie. I
oh for
found it
sure.
just a little anticlimactic, really. Like
Mm,
we get our two guys at the end, they have their moment. Garrity stops. Pete stops, and Gary's like, no, 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 we're gonna keep going, we're gonna keep going, and then he stops, and like Pete just like doesn't see him and
yeah,
keeps going, and I was like, and then when he dies, he asks for the carbine, shoots the major, and then the movie's just kind of over. I
mm,
thought I was like, I just figured we would get maybe a little bit like of resolution from that. Like, what would be the fallout from that? I mean, because he even said, right? He's like, if you kill the major, like they're just gonna kill you. And he's like, I'd be a winner. That's uncharted territory. You don't know. So I'm like,
mm,
what happens? Like they don't kill him, but like they also like back up, and he's like alone in the street. So I don't know if it was just like we're like in his mind right now, and he's just like
mm.
figuring stuff out. I don't know. I didn't love the ending.
It's interesting because I had the exact opposite opinion, which is good. That's why we like
Okay.
having these conversations. We get the different perspectives.
Yeah.
I went into it with a completely different perspective on how it was going to end. I was like, oh, okay, well, I've liked this movie so far, but I feel like now we're at this part. It's gonna be pretty predictable. I feel like what I thought was gonna happen was Peter was gonna be like, man, like I really like Ray's like my guy. I'm gonna sacrifice myself, and it's gonna end up with him sacrificing himself, and then Ray from that's gonna be like, damn, man, like I know I can't. I don't want to do the revenge thing for Peter. I'm gonna do the right thing,
Mm.
and I'm gonna try to make the world a better place, kind of thing, or like or whatever it is. Or I thought it was gonna be like, oh, we're both gonna escape, and it's gonna be like, hey, the two guys got away. So those are my two angles that I was looking at of like this is the obvious ending that we're gonna get. I didn't expect what's it called Ray to die at all because I was like
Mm.
I thought that was just I was like oh snap that's what happened, and then after that I was like okay well Peter is not gonna do it because he's gonna be the guy that's our good guy that's talking about not getting revenge and all that stuff, and then he does do it. So that shocked me. I did not see that at all. And the way I took the ending is that he got immediately killed because
Oh.
because to me the fact that he turned in the streets were empty is like he was in heaven.
Ah.
That's how I took it because like there's no the street was packed. How
Yeah.
immediately would you turn around and there'd be nobody?
That's what I'm
People would
saying.
be
Like it was
swarming him.
obviously, yeah, it was obviously like some kind of cinematic thing, or like you said, it could be him afterlife. It could be.
Yeah.
I thought it was like we're getting a peek into him right now, and he's just like he went through this whole thing. All the guys that he grew this super tight bond with are now dead. Especially his closest guy is
Mhm.
now dead right in front of him. He killed the major. It's now over, and he's just kind of like taking a breath and like
Yeah.
decompressing, like he's just blocking out everybody that's around him.
Mhm.
But it could be your thing. I really don't know.
I was leaning to my immediate thought was your thing. Like as it was like on a close shot, I was like, oh, now he's like in this space where like everything kind of gets zoned out. It's kind of like all you
Yeah.
hear is the rain. You hear like the echoes of like the cheers and stuff because he's like so zoned out. But as soon as when he turned, I was like, oh, where'd everybody go? And in my head, I'm like, oh, did he get shot? I was like, oh, is this like the afterlife? And like I know there's
Mm.
no, I didn't really look into it, but I can't imagine there is an answer because like if he did go that route. I don't think the director would immediately say an opening weekend. This is exactly what happened.
Yeah.
Like he's just gonna let that sit there and let people talk about it. But that's just what I took from it. That's what
Hmm.
I just. I'm not saying I'm
Maybe.
right or wrong. I have no idea, but
I mean,
that's the way I saw that ending.
I will commend the movie or the director, whoever, for creating an ending that you is open like that. I
Yeah.
always like that. I think that's interesting. If it's like something that we always make a joke where the director's like, "Oh, it's up to your
Oh
interpretation,"
yeah.
but this actually is like this.
Yeah.
Actually, you can have a conversation about what you think happened. And I think that's
Mhm.
really interesting and cool that they did that. I just, I, th- so I guess maybe like if we did get more, it would then answer that question, and then we
Mhm.
wouldn't have this
Like
openness
ambiguous.
to it. Yeah,
Yeah.
this ambiguous ending. I
Yeah. I
don't
don't
know. I
know.
guess like how else could it end? Like we knew that one of them was gonna die, and
Yeah.
but I did find it a little anticlimactic. They just he died. I'm not gonna say it was predictable,
Mhm.
um, because it could have been the opposite, like you said, where Pete dies and then Garrity does what Pete wanted him to do. We got the opposite. Garrity
Yeah.
dies and Pete does what Garrity wanted to do. But
Mhm.
would that have been better? I don't
Yeah.
know.
I don't know. Yeah. Exactly. I don't know. I to me there was I also was just like, are they gonna do the thing where it's like we can't decide? There's not gonna be a clear winner, but like I know that's not how Stephen King books go. Like they're pretty like they know like if we're saying where there's only gonna be one person, gonna be one person. But I don't know if
Hmm.
they were gonna be like, let's change that because we like these guys so much that they're both gonna make it at the end. That would have been like the most
That's some
corniest
Hunger Games
end.
shit.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, and that's what I spoilers for anyone that hasn't seen Hunger Games. But I mean, Hunger Games goes into a whole. That's not really that much of a spoiler because you don't know who those people are, and then like there's whole
Right.
three whole movies, and they made a prequel now, and they're gonna make another one. So like they're
Yeah.
making their bags off that. But I was worried it was gonna be something like that, where it's just like, all right, it's a little cheap, but
Because
okay.
didn't they even mention that? Like, what if we just both stop at the same time?
Yeah, exactly. What would they do? And I was like, oh, please don't do that. But then it'd be kind of
Yeah.
wild if they both do something like, I guess we're killing you both. That would be a shocking ending.
That's
I
what
don't
I
know where
mean. I
that
don't
leaves
know.
us, but
Yeah, I don't know. I don't
story
know.
wise,
But
but
I mean, if your interpretation of the ending is true, then that's what happened.
yeah, no, it's
They're both
true.
dead.
Part of me was wondering also too that like, which I'm surprised no one questioned Ray when he said that I'm gonna. Well, he didn't say it to everybody, but when he said I'm gonna go for the major, part of me was thinking I was like, isn't it a system though? Like
Yeah. Does
you
that
kill
actually
the
change
top
anything?
guy, yeah, and they just replace a major with another major. That was what
I would
my thought
assume
would
so.
be.
Yeah.
Yeah, no one questioned him on that, which I was like, oh, I guess we're gonna get the answers to that, but like we don't, which again, just fine. But I was that's what my thought would have been. I'm like, he's like, you think
Maybe.
that guy's pulling all the strings, and as soon as he's gone, everything just goes back to normal. Like,
I
I,
mean,
f-
I don't think everything would just go back to normal, but it would at least, like, if in this dystopian future, it's like a dictatorship, right? So
yeah, true,
he's like the top guy and he just controls everything. If you take him out, then maybe then they can institute a democracy.
true.
I don't know.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Or do I don't know. It would at least it would he what he said is he wanted to enact change and
Yeah,
things will definitely change.
yeah. We don't know how set up they are in the sense of like, are they? Is it like really one guy pulling all the strings? Everyone's afraid of this guy. He's got all the power. And then once he's gone, everyone would be like, oh, okay, thank God we don't have to listen to that dude anymore. Or like all those people that work for him, kind of like so bought in, they'll be like, all right, who's next up so we can continue this? You know, like how
Yeah.
locked in are they?
Yeah.
We don't know.
I
I
mean,
kept
they're
saying,
pretty locked in. I mean, bro, like there's no empathy,
oh
no.
yeah,
They just do their job, like because they hear all these conversations too, right? They're
yeah,
like
that's true.
they're seeing all the stuff that we're seeing, so we're like rooting for these guys. We're like, we when Art is dying, he's like, man, give this to my mom, and you're just standing there waiting to shoot him in the
Yeah,
head. That's
it's
crazy.
insane. It's absolutely insane. Yeah,
Full
100%,
commitment.
full commitment. But yeah, no, that I guess those are our theories on the ending. I'm curious. Do you have any other any facts or any like
Oh, I do actually.
extra things you want to
And
throw at us?
it's on the ending. So in the
Okay.
book, apparently the ending is flipped. So Garrity is the winner,
Mm,
but he doesn't shoot the major. So I guess it is kind of like the opposite. Like he does what Pete says,
mm,
I guess he convinces him not to shoot the major. But instead of making a wish or anything, he just keeps walking forward toward a shadowy figure, and then he begins to run, and it ends. So I don't
interesting.
know what the shadowy figure is supposed to represent. Maybe his
Yeah.
dad, like in the afterlife or something,
Mm,
and I don't know. But apparently, that's what the
interesting.
ending in the book is. So they
Interesting.
changed it.
Oh, interesting. I should have told you no spoilers because I said I wanted to read the book, but
Oh
I
shit!
guess I now know how's in.
Oh my bad. Why did? Yeah,
No,
you
it's
were
okay.
saying that.
It's all
Oh
good.
my bad,
I mean,
man.
no, it's all good because I
I
know that's
literally.
not how it ends.
Oh man.
No, but my thing still is that I still want to read it because I want to know the dynamics, like how much of those
More of the
things are different.
characters and
Yeah, yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
Yeah.
The ending is the ending. It's whatever. And but that is
No,
funny.
that's my bad. I'll
No,
wear that one. I'm sorry
no,
about
no, it's
that.
all good.
You've been saying the whole episode you're gonna read the book, and then I just spoiled. I had it written down as my facts, and I just
No,
I don't know.
it's not
Didn't
that.
even.
No,
I'm
it's all
sorry.
good. No, it's all good. My thing, though, I have a couple of things. I'm only gonna throw at the first thing I thought was interesting is that this is like there's always been like I don't want to say it's a Stephen King renaissance because I saw some people saying that. I'm like, he's always got projects coming out, but this
Yeah.
year specifically is a lot. Like the beginning of the year, Life is Chuck was actually won the People's Choice Award at TIFF last year, and
Mm.
it started rolling through like in 2025. We got The Monkey that came out, which is a horror movie in February. Obviously, we got The Long Walk that we just watched. We got Welcome to Derry, which we were just talking about. It is a TV show that's based off. It's supposed to be like a prequel to it, and it's a
Oh.
TV show that's gonna be on HBO, which I'm actually excited to watch. Coming out in October, and then in November, The Running Man is another
Yeah.
Stephen King dystopian movie. I'm like, damn, this is a lot.
With another interesting premise.
Yeah, exactly. Not horror. I think that one's more of like a dystopian thriller
Yeah.
type deal. And the Arnold Schwarzenegger one was the original one, which I've heard mixed feelings on that one, and we'll see. I'm interested in this one to see how it again, kind of a survival thing. Like
Yeah.
everyone's trying to kill him. We'll see
Yeah. I think
how
could
that
be
goes.
maybe some interesting action in there too.
Yeah. Another fact that I had was it was just something that stuck with me when we saw that writer character in this, where I was thinking, I was like, I feel like Stephen King always has like writer characters
Puts
in his
himself in there.
movies. He always puts himself in it. And I wrote down a couple of ones, at least for the movies I've seen, or at least I'm aware of, like The Shining, like Jack, the main character, he's a struggling writer. In Misery, Paul is like a famous novelist who is a writer, obviously. In Stand By Me, Gordy is writing about the story of
Yep.
them.
Yep.
In 1408, Mike, like the guy that we were talking about that's in the movie with Samuel Jackson, he's a writer. And then in It, Bill who's like one of the main character, one of the kids in the movie, grows up to be a writer. So I didn't really make that connection until this movie, where I was like, oh, another writer. So I saw, I was like, how often does he guy do this? And I started thinking, I was like, oh yeah, he always kind
A
of puts
lot.
himself. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Which I'm sure there's even more. Those are just the
Oh
ones
yeah.
that come to my mind, at least the ones that I've seen. So I thought that was pretty. That was
Is
pretty
there a writer
interesting.
in Shawshank? I feel like there's definitely
Oh,
I mean
definitely
they
someone
spend a
in
lot of time in
prison.
the library.
Yeah, that's true.
There's
There's
probably someone
definitely
writing in there.
100%. There
I can't
100%
remember. It's been
is.
a while
But
since I've seen it.
yeah, no, it's been a while too, to be honestly. Do you have any other facts or any other
No,
small
no, that's all
points?
I got.
I think the only other thing I got was just an interesting quote I saw from Stephen King before we head into the film. He's just he was in an interview, and someone was asking why do you write horror movies, and then also like why do you think people like horror? And I thought it was interesting quotes I want to throw up. He's like I think it relates to the old joke about the guy who bangs his head against the wall, and people like go up to him and say, why do you keep doing that? And he said, I like the way it feels when I stop. And he was like, I think and he's like, I think it's yeah, I know
I've never heard
I've
that.
never heard that quote either. I've never heard that quote either.
Oh man.
I think it's funny because he was saying that it's I think if you're scared out of your wits when the scare ends, when the lights come on, and when the book ends, you say to yourself, well, things are bad for me, but at least I'm not in that position. It had like
Hmm.
with the connection of like I like the feeling when it stops. It's like I like watching the horror movie, so then when I step away, it's like, well, at least it's not a demon clown coming after me.
Right.
Yeah. What I thought was just like a funny. I've never heard the bang the head against the wall quote. That's actually pretty
No,
hilarious.
me neither. But that is an interesting way of looking at it. Like
Yeah.
kind of
I've never heard.
pessimistically. Like but realistically, everybody has their own problems that they're
Yeah.
going through. So if you make something worse than that, then they come out of it being like, okay, maybe it's not so
Yeah.
bad.
No, 100%. But
Okay,
yeah,
I like that.
that's all I got for my little extra facts and whatnot. So I think it's time.
It's time for the filmies. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Filmies. This is our award show where we have 6 awards that we're going to give to the movie, different people, parts of the movie. And our first one is the fit check. So, best or worst fit of the movie. Who gets your fit check?
So this could easily go into worst fit depending on what point of the movie that you pick them, because like they start getting really worn out. But I'm starting off from like day one, and I'm giving it to Stebbins, number 38. Uh, Very simple fit, but like it's like the brown lace up leather boots. You got the dark pants with the white button up. But to me, I think with the heavy lifting was the suspenders.
Yeah.
You got the
Yeah.
suspenders with the flat cap and just like the white
Mm.
undershirt. I was like, it's just the it's like a most thoughtful outfit. I think everyone else kind of came through like, I'm gonna do this walk. He was like, I'm gonna get this fit off. Like, is there a reason for him to have suspenders? No. He's like, I'm gonna get a fit
Actually,
off.
no, I was thinking, I mean, you're going to be walking for days, right? So
Mm,
if you go with the suspenders to hold your pants up, like if you're, like imagine you're walking and your belt pops because
mm,
you've been moving so much and, like, and then, so now you've got this added difficulty and it's a survival thing, right? So
that's
I feel
true.
like you'd want to do as much as you can to give yourself an advantage. I think it's a strategic choice.
That's a good point. I mean, you're giving more credit to my fit, so I'll agree with you.
It's strategic. It looked good. It was
Yeah,
practical. It was everything.
that's what I was about to say until you.
Yeah,
Yeah. What about you
yeah.
though?
I actually almost gave it to him. I wrote that one down, so it would
Okay,
have
I
been
thought
my
100% it was gonna be here because you added that point. I thought you
no,
were
because
building your case too.
no, I wrote it down, but there was a one later on that stole it
Okay.
from him.
All right.
I gave it to Garrity's mom,
Okay.
and it's in the flashback scene, like with his dad.
Hmm.
So she's got a black and gold dress,
Yeah.
but in this fit, like you said, the suspenders doing most of the work. It was her hair that was doing most of the work in this one. She had a nice little
Okay.
hairstyle. It was like a ponytail kind of at the back, but the hair in the front, like bangs, I guess, were like kind of combed over to the side. It was a
Okay.
fresh look.
All right. All
She was
right.
looking good.
So you're one of those kids, where you're screaming about your mom's a looker. You were.
Mom's decent.
Yeah. Andre Iguodala over
Yeah,
here.
exactly. Shout out Andre Iguodala.
Raised
Mom's
Luka
decent.
Doncic out here. Mom's decent. Fit check.
Exactly.
All right, that's
Exactly.
a good. I don't actually remember that fit, but that's
I mean, you
a
don't
good.
see it for much. She's
Yeah,
because the scene's mostly about his dad,
yeah, I know
but
for sure.
she got it. It was a good fit. It was a good
I
fit.
I gotta go back now and I gotta see if I can find that. That's
Yeah. Well, you said
hilarious
it was one
though.
of your favorite movies, so you won't have a problem
Yeah,
going back
no,
watch it again.
100%. I'll watch it again.
Next up, we got our Ferris Bueller Award, our
Yeah.
Lazy Award. So something that someone did on screen or behind the scenes that we consider to be lazy. Who gets your Ferris Bueller?
So my Ferris Bueller goes to Hank, aka number 46. It's the
Okay.
so the whole thing that he was going off of is that like I'm gonna go as long as this gum goes. And
Mm.
to me, I'm like, well, that's a little short sighted. Like, I mean, I don't know how long is this stride gum. Like, I don't know how long you think this gum is gonna go. But
That's yeah.
I was like, you couldn't bring more gum. Like, you couldn't bring at least like a second piece of gum. Then to me,
Mm.
that's
It's
lazy.
everlasting gobstopper.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. This isn't Willy Wonka, bro. This is a Stephen King book. It's not gonna last forever. So
Hmm.
yeah, I had to give him to that.
Okay.
Part of me was thinking, I was like, maybe he didn't want to do it because the whole classic thing, like elementary school, you bring out some gum, everyone's like, yo, can I have a piece, can I have a piece, can I have a
True.
piece. That'd
Yeah.
be his
Yeah.
worry, maybe. But if your whole basis is off this gum thing, I mean, it's a little
Yeah.
lazy not to bring at least a second piece that maybe would have lasted longer.
Maybe. Yeah. You're right.
Maybe.
It's just a poor mentality going in.
That's what I'm saying. So he gets my lazy award for that.
I like it. Mine, I gave to Garrity,
Okay.
and it's right at the very, very start of the movie. So his mom drops him off at the start of the walk,
Yeah.
and she gives him cookies that she made for her.
Hmm.
He takes the cookies and puts them in his pocket.
Oh yeah.
Horrible choice. Like you literally have your bag there open. Put it in the bag because for a couple reasons. One, you have cookies jammed into your pocket. On any occasion, that's a terrible idea. They're gonna get melted
Yeah.
or broken and squished. You're about to go on a walk that you cannot stop. Like if anything, this is the worst time to put cookies in your pocket. It's a bad time at any moment, but you're literally just gonna be sweat and
Oh
dirt
my
and like just
gosh.
what are
Yeah,
you
it's
doing?
just absolutely disgusting.
Poor
That's a
choice.
horrible terrible choice. No, that's a great pick. Cause yeah, that was I cringed when he did that too. I'm like, what are you doing, man? Like literally you putting something in your pocket for 5 minutes that'd be like you take it out and there'd be like lint on it and stuff like that.
Yep, yep,
Yeah, that's just craziness. Yeah,
yeah.
that's a great pick.
Thank you. Okay, next, both lazies attached to food.
Oh yeah, that's true. I didn't even think about that.
Next, we got our six man, our Peyton Pritchard Award.
Yeah.
So this is someone with a smaller role in the film that did the most with that small opportunity. Who gets your six man?
So I gave it to Jeremiah Freites or Fritz. I don't know how to pronounce the last name, but that's the composer for the
Ah, okay,
movie.
okay, okay.
I just like, and we are talking about specific scenes. One thing he said too that stuck with me is that he talked about his inspiration for it and him talking back and forth with like the director and kind of going with talking with Stephen King and kind of getting a take of like what kind of tone they should go with for the movie. And he actually talked about how he used like the Stand By Me as inspiration because like, well, this is very much like a brotherhood movie. So I'm gonna kind of like listen to that and kind of get inspiration from that. And I do feel that sense, like that
Yeah.
that brotherhood sense, and like we did get those kind of moments, like when there's moments when like they're a little happier, like the music kind of reflected that. Obviously, when things were tense, like we are talking about the hill scene, like
Mm-hmm.
I mentioned it earlier with the whole like ticking and like how things are going so crazy and in our moments too. I don't know exactly which song it was 'cause I was trying to find specific songs. The like when we were talking about Baker art when he was going through his like that was very much dragged out in a good way as we said, and I felt like the score really played with that, just in like that somber music. And like a
Mm-hmm.
lot of the times we were just hearing that like he was kind of just like struggling, and like as he was slowly trailing off, all we were really hearing was the music, and it really like built up until the moment when it finally happened. So I thought that was done really well. And I think just like that final moment when Pete's holding the gun and we get the dramatic music, like the finale music of like, is he gonna do it? Like obviously the dramatic thing of the rain coming down and he's holding it. It's like, oh, it's building, and then we get the ending. And I thought the score was a big part of this movie. So I want to give him my six man for that.
It's a good pick. Yeah, I mean, there's music in every movie,
Yeah.
but I mean, with the
I feel like we say that every single time too.
that there's music in every movie.
Yeah, like when someone
Yeah,
picks it, we're just like, yeah, I mean, yeah, there's music in every movie. It's
no,
just
no, no. But I mean, but if it stands out, then I mean, that's the essence of the whole
yeah,
award,
no,
right?
for
And I
sure.
mean, and I think it's a good point about how it always relates to the tone of the scene because there are so many different types of scenes in this
Mm,
movie. It's not like you're supposed to be sad the whole time, or you're
yeah,
supposed to be scared the whole time, or you're supposed to be tense the whole time. It's always constantly changing, and the music reflected that. So that's a I feel like that creates more challenge in that role of fitting the proper style of music to the tone that you're trying to achieve, and like the I don't want to say messaging, but like the emotion you're trying to convey in each separate scene. Good pick.
yeah, no, for sure. And to me, it's like I always go back because it's actually a good point too, where it's sometimes you wonder, it's like, why is it? Because there is music in every movie, and I feel like for the most part, if you're watching a good movie, the score is going to be good. But what is it? The reason why sometimes you're just like, you know what, I need to give this guy an award, and I think a little bit of it sometimes when it's a movie that you watch in theater, and if you have a
Mm,
good sound system, then the
that
music
helps. Yeah.
definitely helps. It hits you a lot more. I'm like, okay, I'm really feeling this score in this, and sometimes just like it could just be a composer that's taking like certain chances, or it's just certain scenes that are really powerful, and then you're just more apparent for whatever reason that like, oh man, the music is going crazy right here, like whatever, like maybe they're not saying anything, because I think of Quiet on the Western Front, like I watched that at home, but there's so many scenes where there's like not a lot of talking, and it's silent, and then maybe it's
Mm-hmm.
just going off people's like facial expressions, so then the music is really doing the heavy lifting, and that's when you're like, oh yeah, like yeah, the score's going crazy here. And in this,
Right.
I think, I think I don't know necessarily to say, I don't know if he took crazy chances or anything with the music, but I think watching in a theater is definitely something that also just made me like emphasize, like, oh snap, like the music's going crazy here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
Jeremiah Freites.
Freights, yeah, I don't know if it was Freights, but that was my six man. How about
Cool.
you?
Good six, man. Mine I gave to Garrity's dad.
Okay,
And it's funny because we were talking about, like he left his son. He made the decision to
yeah,
do that, to get killed, basically. But I respect him for standing on business.
I
Like, gun to the head, he's like, all you have to do is say the words.
yeah,
Like, do you pledge allegiance? And he looked him dead in the face, said, "No, sir, I do not."
yeah,
And I mean, he set the example for his son. You got to fight for what you believe in, and that's what Garrity did too. I mean, I guess and then he in turn, he didn't actually pull the trigger and kill the major, but he's the one that like planted that seed in Pete's mind, and he's the reason that Pete did that.
yeah, no,
So
it's true.
at the end of the day, it started with his dad, and if he didn't stand on business, maybe that wouldn't happen, and the major in the long run or the long walk continues. So at
That's
the end of the
true.
day,
No, it's a
he
good
was a
point. Maybe Ray doesn't even do it. I wonder, does Ray do it if his dad's still alive? Does his dad convince him not to do it because he's so against that
well that
system? I don't know.
yeah, because that's what his mom says, right? When they pull up, and she's like, "Are you sure you can't back out? Like, you sure you want to do this? Like, you can't do this. I'm not dropping you off." And she's like, "Well, if your dad was here," and he's like, "Well, he's not here."
Yeah,
So she was about to say, if he was here, he would tell you not to, I guess, or
yeah. I don't know. That is interesting. I see your point too, because like I was saying how the conflicting thing is like, yeah, your dad left you, but it was pretty hard.
yeah,
All said and done, it's like, damn, this guy's got sack as the
exactly. That's why I
as the
defended him a little
major would
bit in
say.
that moment because I knew he was my sixth man. So I was like, okay, let me try and defend him a little bit. He stood on business.
No, he did 100%. I am right at that.
Next up, we got our favorite quote. Self-explanatory. What was the best quote?
My favorite quote went to Ray, and it was kind of like it was off of what Peter said to him, so it was like it was his response. So Peter says to him, like, I think this is after, I don't know whose death it was, but someone died, and then Peter went to him. He's like, "Man, I keep hoping that part gets easier." And then
Mm,
Ray responds, "That's what I'm afraid of." And I thought
mm,
I thought that was a really dope line, just because obviously it's the fear of like losing humanity. At this point, these guys, And I feel like they never really lose it at any point. They never really comes to a point. Like, I feel like every single death hits them. They're never just like, this is part of the game. Even with like Brokovich, like they seemed pretty shaken up by. I mean, the way it has happened
Yeah, I
was
was gonna
obviously
say. I mean,
it was
yeah,
pretty traumatizing. But no, I really liked that line. I thought it was it really telling of like the state of these guys and like what's carried with them throughout the majority of the movie or all of the
yeah,
movie.
yeah. It's a good pick. I mean, you're right. Just talking about the humanity of because they all enter this competition knowing what it is,
Yeah,
so they know they're gonna see people die.
yeah,
But for like when you even though you know it's coming, you're still seeing someone that even if it's someone that you're not having a relationship with, like I guess in the unnamed characters when they get popped, then nobody bats an eye in
yeah,
this movie. I guess a couple of them do a little bit, like they kind of look over when that guy runs, tries to escape, and they shoot him right away. When the guy with the speaker, like you said, strips down and
yeah,
gets tries to take the gun and just gets killed.
yeah,
But uh, yeah, that's a good point. Of just that's what I'm worried about. I'm worried about it getting too simple and death is just meaningless.
yeah. Because then you step
Interesting.
out of it because it's like I don't want to win like this, where like I go through this whole thing and like it gets easier and easier, and now I have to live life and being like, yeah, like I'm okay if someone just gets popped because I saw so much of it. So I thought
Yeah,
that was a little powerful bar. And obviously it's hard to
interesting.
find. It's hard to find quotes when you're watching a movie live in a theater like that. So when I heard that one, I was like, I like that. So
Yeah. Yeah, we
noted.
say that all the time when we will do a new release that kind of just whatever sticks with you,
Yeah.
you write it down. And that's exactly what I did. Mine's
Mhm.
not like there's not even a whole bunch of like meaning behind it or anything, but it just
Yeah, which
really
is
stuck with
fine.
me. I gave it to Ray as well.
Mhm.
And he says it to one of the guards. I call them guards. I don't know. It's
Yeah,
officers,
yeah,
soldiers.
I think I said yeah, just
I don't
soldiers.
know. You
Yeah,
know what I'm talking about
I
though.
know what you're talking about.
Um, I don't even remember exactly when this is. I think it's when he was struggling at some like, one of the moments that he was struggling,
Okay.
and Pete was helping him out, and I think he had the gun to his head, and then
Mhm.
he got back up to speed, and he was good. And he looks at the guard and he says, "You're paid to shoot me. Don't look at me, motherfucker."
That's hard.
I was just like, okay, that's kind of tough. I mean, just even the first like, "You're paid to shoot me." That's crazy.
Yeah, it
Just
is
that's a
crazy.
crazy sentence. You know
No, it
what I
really
mean?
is.
That's just a
Yeah.
wild thing to say. Um, and just like the ball, because he hates this whole system, right?
Yeah.
Anybody involved with this, he's like, "Fuck you! Don't even look at me.
Mhm.
You're paid
Yeah,
to
that's
shoot me. I don't look at me. Fuck you."
no, it's pretty hard. They got me nervous when they first started doing their chants, being like, "Yeah, f the long walk." I got nervous. I was like, "Is someone gonna get popped?" As like as a warning, like stop that.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
got I got nervous for them. I'm like, yo, guys, chill out, man. Like, I don't know, but
yeah.
it
I
never
was thinking the
actually
same
happened.
thing
Yeah,
because
I
they were
never.
talking about that. He was like, you can't don't talk bad about the major. Don't talk bad about the
Yeah,
major." And then they start doing that.
that's why I was nervous. Like, oh, someone's gonna gonna be using an example. Which another crazy thing too that we didn't talk about. Which again, not a crazy plot point, but just the fact that like certain people they just shot in the stomach and just let them bled out. So people would be like, "Hey,
Mm,
don't do that." I'm like, God dang, man. Everyone's already
yeah,
getting. We don't need. I feel like we don't need warnings of like, "Hey, this could something bad could happen to you." I'm like, you're already popping me in the head if I stop walking. Like,
yeah.
but
But I
yeah,
guess
that's
it's like, would you rather just die instantly or bleed
no,
out
of
on the
course,
street?
yeah, no, 100%. No, it's
Yeah.
true. But yeah,
Like
that's
the dude that got ran over by the
oh my
tank.
god! And they gave him a warning. That cheesed me.
You better get up and start walking 3 miles per
Yeah.
hour, guy. No legs.
It's that warning. I'm like, come on. Just give
Just shoot
away.
him.
Yeah, exactly. Gonna give him three no, second warning. I'm like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
What are we
Hey,
doing?
they got to be by the book,
I
man.
guess so, man.
Next we got our best scene. What was your favorite scene?
I don't know how to classify this scene really because it's. I mean, I guess it kind of goes into the going up the hill scene. So I guess I'd say it's the going up the hill
Okay.
scene, but it's the thing that leads into it where they have the whole they're everyone's just now trying to get to know each other more, and everyone's like, oh, do you Peter asked him like, oh, do you have a girl? And Ray's like, oh yeah, I got a girl. And then he asked Peter, he's like, oh, do you have a girl? And he's like, no, I do. It's like, no, I do not. And it's kind of like this little hint that maybe Pete is gay. They
I
never
was thinking
actually
that
like
too.
they never full out say it, but like they said a lot without actually having the conversation because Ray takes it as, oh, this guy's gay, and you immediately see him shift. Like suddenly he gets all angry and be like, yo, you just want to kill me. Like you don't care if I die or whatever it is. It's like you see, it's like, okay, we're seeing a little bit of the prejudice here. Like, maybe he doesn't like gay people. He's worried that like, oh, this guy he's being so nice to me. Maybe he actually just likes me, and like I don't want none of that. And then, but then immediately when it comes to that tension point of like when they're going up the hill, and it's like, oh man, we might die, and he saves them. Suddenly he flips. He's like, oh man, I'm so sorry. Like, I'm so sorry the way I act and stuff like that. That's how because why else would he get so angry in that moment? It
Yeah.
made no other sense besides him thinking that's what it was. And I thought it was interesting the way they handled that, because everything was said about it without actually anything ever like being said. And then they kind
Right.
of moved past it. And he's like, you know what? I don't even care if you're gay or whatever it is. Like, you saved me. Like, I was gonna die. Like, let's just move past that. And then they moved past it.
Mm-hmm.
There's so
Yeah.
much was said. I thought that was well done the way they did that.
That it was really interesting because I was thinking the same thing. I was like, is he gay? I mean, not that that really changes anything, but
No, it doesn't.
but I was wondering that. I think I like that that is in there though. That like the whole time the relationship isn't just like they met at the start. They're like, hey, what's up? I'm Pete, and then they're
Mm,
just like best buds instantly, and they're doing it
yeah.
for the whole thing because like the whole dynamic of this competition is weird and it's a
Yeah.
competition. Like at the end of the day, if for one of them, if you want to survive, then the other one has to die and you have to beat them.
Yeah.
So like helping them in theory doesn't actually help your odds. Like they even
Yeah.
mention it throughout the movie, like, oh, odds just got a little better. Odds just got a
Yeah.
little better. So like, but the fact that there is this moment of him like turning on him for a second and being like, wait a second, no, I'm supposed to be competing against you. You
Mm.
just don't even talk to me. Get away from me. Like you were even saying like you would be probably a little standoffish in that scenario. So like I like that it wasn't just sunshine and rainbows the whole time between them.
Yeah, and I thought that's why that scene was really important too, because it was like, oh, fine, then we're getting a little bit of tension. It didn't last too long, but there was a good reason why it didn't last long, because it was like, oh man, like I was done there, and like you really helped me. Like I
Yeah.
completely gave up myself. I'm like, it's done. This hill's hard. I'm not gonna make it. Everyone just getting like lit up
Yeah.
all around me. Like I could easily be one of these guys, but yeah, no, I thought that was a really good scene. What about you though? What was your favorite
Mine
scene?
mine is art dying. It's
Yeah,
we talked about it. It's just the tough to me it was just the most impactful death scene. Like you said, his nose starts bleeding and he just like, I don't got it anymore, guys. Like this is the end for me. Like he's just
hmm
accepting of it. I mean pretty much all of them when they get their moment they accept it.
yeah,
There's not I mean there are a couple like they're the side characters that kind of try to run away or whatever, but for the most part they kind of just like, all right, this is the end for me, and then they just stop. But
yeah,
like we said, the way that it was dragged out well, give my necklace to my grandma. It was set up earlier with the religious thing.
yeah,
Don't watch him do it, man. Just let me
yeah.
ask one thing.
Mm.
Don't watch him do it. It was just hitting me right in the heart, man.
Yeah.
It was the most emotion I was feeling throughout the movie, and is my favorite scene.
Yeah, that was a great scene. That was those are the two scenes I was going back and forth with.
Mm,
So it's a great scene. It was, yeah, we talked about
yeah,
Jack earlier too, but yeah, no, I 100% agree. That was a great scene. That was a tough one, man. I think of too, like we talk about the funny moments too, and I think of a funny moment with him, like when he was like trying to crap, and then they're like, I can't remember who was that screaming, like, "Yo, like clinch, man, hurry up, man!" Like it took his
yeah,
second warning. He's like, "Yo, hurry up!" like that,
yeah,
and then he finally. I actually was. Did you think he was gonna be good, or you think he was
yeah.
just gonna get messed up?
There's no way they're gonna take Art out for pooping, man. Nah, no way. They would have done him so dirty if that's how he goes out.
Oh my God. Hey, you never know, man. But no, you're right. There's a little part. It was a little part of me. You get lost in the movie magic sometimes. I'm not even thinking critically. I'm like, will they? Are they that ball? Would they do it? Nah, no, they're not gonna do it.
Nah, they
They're not
couldn't do
gonna
him
do
like
it. Yeah,
that.
they can't do it.
They had to save him for this absolute
Oh yeah,
banger of a
heartbreaking
scene
moment.
instead.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
Finally, last but not least, we have our MVP. Who's your most valuable player? MVP is most
Yeah,
valuable
yeah.
player,
It's
but I guess
most valuable performance. Sometimes we say,
performance. Okay.
but in this sense, it wouldn't be. I mean, I guess everything's a performance. I guess no matter what job you're doing,
You're
but
true. You're
we're getting it.
performing something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're performing something. But I gave it to Francis Lawrence, the
Okay.
director.
Yeah.
I just first of all, I thought it was interesting. I saw that he gave a lot of the actors like freedom, like for their characters, like a lot of like costume props, like
Oh.
like all that kind of stuff, so they could, even though like they're supposed to be these characters in the in the book, but he still gave them a little bit of freedom. And obviously, like if it was too crazy, like reel them back a little bit. For the most part, he's like, hey, you know what this character is, and like if you want to add a little bit of nuance, like, or whatever it is, or like you want to do this, like I'll give you the freedom, and then if it's too much, then we'll bring you back. So that was kind of cool. I think he fits perfectly for this gritty, grounded kind of style. Like anyone that doesn't know, we talked about how he did the latter half of the Hunger Games movies. He also did I Am Legend, and there's a very similar feel, like that gritty kind of gives me almost like a
Survival.
Walking Dead kind of
Oh yeah.
like like not even just like just the tone, but also just the way they look. Like it's kind of like it's dirty, it's yellow, and this movie's very dirty. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
People just freaking peeing and crapping, and like everyone's sweating and bleeding, and it's just like very much has like that same kind of feel. And I just thought that yeah, no, I just like the way the choices that were made, and just the choices that I don't know. I know that was a mix between him and Stephen King, because Stephen King talked about how he wanted to be rated R, because he got a lot of pull on like the what's it called, the who gets picked, who's the director and stuff like that, and the creative
Okay. Yeah.
choices. So we had to give the thumbs up on all those things. But like Francis came up with a lot of the concepts and like how we're going to show these things. And I think it really worked to just being gritty and showing those kills, just made it feel so real and made it impactful. Because that was another part that I was worried about too. I would say, shouldn't say worried about, but if you're gonna, to me, I was like, if you're gonna do this whole survival thing and these kids are gonna be in this, well, kids, grown men, I feel like the off-screen kills would definitely be a lot less impactful.
Mm-hmm.
That they're pretty gruesome. I didn't think they were gonna get that gruesome, but
Yeah.
having them on screen, I think definitely adds more like more tension and it to like, and the adds more fear to the characters, and you understand why they're so scared. You already understand why they're scared anyway, because they don't want to die, but it just adds, I think it just added more to it. And so that's why I give my MVP, because I just thought I really liked the movie.
Yeah. No, I mean I totally agree with like the look. I think that it did look really gritty, dirty is a good
Yeah.
word. Um I think as well that he had a really good balance of grounded realism and dramatics.
Mhm.
Like it's not like the whole movie is super realistic. There's some drama, there's some
Yeah.
juiced up
Oh, for
scenes in
sure.
this, but it's also not the whole movie is just
Yeah.
like absolutely ridiculous. So I think it was a good balance.
Mhm.
Um one question actually that I, because you were mentioning the, obviously they don't want to die,
Yeah.
and the fact that they all kind of like get their moments where they accept it, and then they talk about like getting their ticket.
Mhm.
What was that? What is that? Your ticket?
I guess they mean like getting your ticket punched. Kind of like, I think it's like a
Oh, it's just like
saying.
a slang thing.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
okay.
think it is. Like, yeah, you got your ticket punched. Like, yeah, it's your turn to go. You know what I mean? Like when
Yeah.
you have like a ticket, you got your ticket punched. I That's what I just think. That's what I took
Okay.
that as. I don't know if it was there was another meaning to it.
I thought. Well, that's why like I wasn't sure because like I said I missed the very start. Maybe part of the rules was like if you die, there's a ticket that goes like to your family or something
Oh, okay. No,
for.
there wasn't that at the beginning. No.
Okay. Yeah. I don't
But
know.
that's what
Maybe it was
I just
just a
took that
slang
out.
thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe. I think that's just what it was. But maybe it's something else. I don't know. Let us
I
know in
don't
the
know.
comments if you know, if you read the book and maybe
True.
they was referring to something else.
Please do. Yeah, because I didn't see it in research or anything. But good pick. Yeah, he was really good. No certifieds today because he is not my
Oh,
MVP.
damn.
My MVP goes to Stephen King.
Okay, yeah.
Uh, I mean, it's just great premise. I love a great premise. It just
Yeah.
it's something that like grabs me, and I just like I can see it going so many different ways. There's so many
Mhm.
like avenues that this could go. It just really interests me, and I just get so excited about that. All the different characters with depth. They all
Yeah.
had depth that creates a great dynamic that we talked about a lot in the parallels with Stand By Me, like the just the boys being boys aspect is super well done. And I think I give him credit for making a story about literally just walking in a straight line
Yeah.
so interesting and moving, and like so many different things are happening. Like when the plot of this movie, like there's not really anything happening. They're just
Yeah.
walking.
No, it's
And
true.
so you could take that and make such a compelling story. Props to you, Stephen King.
Yeah. I
You're
mean,
a
that's
great
literally
author if no one's ever told you.
I mean, it's funny too. Like when you think about it, Stand by Me is a long walk.
Exactly. Yeah.
it's basically. I don't know which one you wrote first, but it's just like there's also another funny comment too, which I just remembered as we're talking about this simple concept. And I was watching an interview, like Dead Meat did an interview, like the YouTube channel with some of the cast for The Long Walk, and uh, Chelsea is one of the people on the channel, and she had this hilarious comment that made me laugh, where she's like, "Yeah, I got a lot of parallels to not a lot, but I got a parallel to Lord of the Rings. Maybe think of Lord of the Rings." And they were like, "Oh, what was your parallel?" She's like, "Well, Fellowship of the Ring. It's kind of like a long walk."
Yeah, 100%.
And I was like, "Yeah, that's true." I never did think about
Yeah,
it. It is very. I mean, no one's. They're not had to have like guys ready to shoot them at any chance, but it is just a long. It's that classic thing. It's a journey.
it's a journey.
It's like,
Yeah,
how can you get these characters on a journey, and then like, what are we putting around them? Like, let's focus on this journey, these characters. We want to like them, hate them. They're gonna have this conflict, but what's happening around them? This is like
yeah.
the
But I
basics
mean,
of that.
in most of those types of stories of a journey is like, yes, you're going on a long walk, but then you're stopping and meeting different people, or you're
Yeah,
fighting somebody, or you're finding something, or you know what I mean? Like there's other aspects in this. That's
yeah. It's
none
just
of
the
that really
walk.
happens. It's just the
Yeah,
walk in the characters. That's it.
yeah. No, it's true. 100%. Yeah.
But no
No
certifieds today. Not a
certified.
single
Yeah,
one.
that's wild. We said that if we get 6, the show's over. I don't remember what we said if we got none. I mean, that's happened before, so
Yeah, we've had none before.
we've
So
had none before, but it's been a while. It's been a
it
while.
has. It has.
But I mean, that makes sense with. I don't remember if like what happened on 28 days later. Like that's a different shift, because I'm saying when we both really like a movie, sometimes we'll have the same. If we don't really like a movie, then maybe we'll have the same when we're kind of like on opposite sides. I don't actually know if we ever had certifieds. This one, I don't think we're on opposite sides. You didn't hate this
No.
movie,
No, I liked
but
it.
we were close though, because Stephen King was almost my MVP too, and then
Mm.
my favorite scene was almost the art scene too. So I
Our
think we're
fit
pretty
check was
close.
close.
That's true.
We were close. Yeah,
We were close, but nothing this week. But
that's okay.
with that being said, if you want to be part of the conversation, you could follow us at the Film Room Pod on Instagram, on TikTok. We're also on YouTube, Spotify, Apple. You can find us at the Film Room Podcast. If you want to help the show, you can hit us with a review. It helps us get seen, and we love hearing from the family, as you heard in the family meeting. We give some shout outs when we get some family feedback. It could be funny, it could be serious, it could be weird. We read them all. And how many stars? I always forget, Scott. You always got to remind me how many stars if they do
5
stars.
stars. If not, you get a warning.
Yeah.
4 stars, second warning. 3 stars, you're done.
There you go. Perfect. You get your ticket punched.
Yeah. You get your ticket punched. That's right.
Yeah, that's how we threaten people on this show to give us reviews. So
Exactly.
Do you have any final thoughts before I close this off? Any
No,
final
it was
words?
it's a good movie.
Yeah, it was good.
I'm happy with it.
It was a good movie.
I wasn't expecting you to be so high on it, but it was a good conversation.
Yeah. No,
Interesting.
I mean, yeah. And with that being said, remember, it takes a heavy sack to sign up for that contest. And it also takes a heavy sack to join the film family. And that applies to our female listeners as well. So if you listen, you got a heavy sack. And peace out.
Peace out.